What were you saying, Rob?
Oh yeah, we live yet? Oh yeah, what I was saying was then she came down here, man, and was like all up in my business, man. I said, let me tell you something. Do you know who you're talking to? I said, you're not talking.
What'd she say?
Willie.
What'd she say to that?
She said, no, yes, I do know who I'm talking to, and that's why I'm here.
Ooh, she got you good.
Yeah, I was like, hey, touche.
You told her. Did you tell her what front row said? Did you tell her about what front row said?
I was like, oh man, I didn't unleash front row on her yet, man, but it's coming.
You can't just do that.
No, you get front row on her, then it's over.
It's on then.
That's how you know. That's how you know it got real.
Yeah,
real.
All right. I'm about to post to all channels. Gary, you got nothing to do. You need to be engaged.
I'm just popping my chat out, popping it and locking it. You know what I'm saying? You know
Pop, lock, and drop. Pop, lock, and drop.
Chad.
Little Rage Media, what's up? Ringside Rant, what's up? Front Row, what's up? Who's Chad? What are you talking about, Chad?
You said you had to pop out the Chad.
Chad, dog, you stupid.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Pop out that Chad.
I was like, hold on. Now.
Listen to this fool.
We are a trio. All right. You ain't
right.
bringing Chad in here. Who's Chad? Get him out of here. GTFO with Chad.
Yeah, Chad. Natalia Martin's in here. Now it's lit.
Now it's real.
Okay, here we go.
Wrestling with the MMA is in here.
Nice.
Y'all don't even know. Oh, man. We sound like goobers right now. Or I sound like a goober right now. I'm sorry, live chat. Yeah. It's good to see you guys, man. I tell you what, it is tough to get through the work week sometime. But then, like, you guys are all here. My boys are here in the room, the chat room. I get to talk to Front Row and MMA and RJ, Natalia. You know, since Will doesn't let us talk to her like normally, he says we're not allowed to engage with her unless she's in the chat room and he is observing. And so, you know, that's just how it is.
Hey, gentlemen are.
You said, hey, Rob, and then just stared into the screen like a deer in headlights.
He was just saying, hey. He was just saying, hey, Rob.
I was like, hey.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, guys.
Hey, everybody. Oh, man. All right. I guess if we're ready to go, we'll get started. What's up, you beautiful people? This is Gary Horn, and this is the NWA, the podcast celebrating the past, present, future, history, legacy, and tradition of the greatest pro wrestling entity of all time. We're talking about that National Wrestling Alliance. But alas, it's not just about the National Wrestling Alliance right now because they're not doing anything regularly yet. So we talk about a lot of things. So if you're here and you're new, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you hit subscribe. We're going to talk about everything in wrestling today. A lot of emphasis on NWA folk, though. But I'm joined by my partners, my blood brothers. Not my lovers yet, but
that was just a one-time thing, man.
Oh boy, that is Dr. Rob Stinson. Welcome, Dr. Rob.
That's right. I'm so high on being Dr. Rob Stinson and a member of the NWA pod that I think I might just stick around for another 20 years.
Wow, that's a long time. I'm not even sure the technology will be the same in 20 years.
Probably be better, a little bit better.
Yeah, we'll probably just beam right into y'all's living rooms, and
we'll be on Zoom Plus.
Oh. That'll be great.
Zoom X.
That other voice you're hearing is, of course, the other doctor, although it's not officially recognized, but he is the doctor of style, the doctor of graphic design, the doctor of media in general. Hey, it's Will.Daily. Will Martin. Hey, Will.
What's up, everyone? You can't see it because I got my background, but I am live at the Thunderdome right now. This is amazing. Oh my God. It's so big. It's just crazy. There's so much lights and metal. It's great. I'll tell you all about it.
Oh, I can't wait because I'm sure that's why everybody's here to talk about Thunderdome. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little excited. But let's see, what else was I gonna say up front? I can't even remember. Anyway, hit subscribe. Thanks for listening. If you're listening, we're gonna do the same thing we always do. We're gonna talk wrestling news, and then at the end we'll just switch it off and talk to just the live chat and hang out with you guys. We are so appreciative of all of you. I'm a little off today because did I tell you guys I'm on a fast? That I went on a fast?
No.
You're fasting?
Yeah, I'm fasting right now. So I have not had food since Sunday.
Wow.
That's a lie.
That's where you can ask my wife. She thinks I'm crazy, but I do it every once in a while. But here's what happened is I woke up on Saturday and I stood on the scale and I was like, that ain't right. That is not right. And I haven't been working out like I should and stuff. So I'm like, I got to reset. I'd gotten to where, like, I think every day last week I'd had a drink or two. And I was just like, all right, dude, you're not doing anything. So you got to turn your life around here. Cause when the quarantine started, I was like super into it. Like I was like, I'm going to change everything. And then I got kind of lazy. And so now I sit at my computer all day for work. And then I move from the computer to the chair to watch TV. And then that's just no good. Anyway, I'm glad I shared that story with you guys.
You must be starving right now, man.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not that bad. I'm drinking tea, just regular hot tea and black coffee. I did treat myself today with and this. Oh, by the way, yeah, in the fancy, this is the NWA podcast mug, you guys.
Look at Rob. He's so mad.
Rob, you need to order one.
Rob, get a mug, man.
What's up with you?
Why do you not have a mug?
I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I didn't even get the right shirt, man. I ordered the wrong shirt. Man, I'm the worst.
You have the same opportunity as all of us to get a mug. You don't have any reason to sit there and pout. Get a mug.
You don't have to. What I was going to say is I'm treating myself to a Bang energy drink, a Rose, since I'm not having actual rose or any other form of alcohol.
How are you going to drink that on an empty stomach? I think the last time I ever had an energy drink on an empty stomach, I just like got real sick.
I remember you had Gary had one that at the Bearded Trio Summit, man. He had an empty stomach drink that he was gone like 2 hours. Then he came back acting like nothing happened. Like, hey guys, remember that, Gary?
Yeah, that was something else though.
You don't remember?
That was oh man, no, but those are like 0 calorie. I also treated myself to this core hydration for the electrolytes. I read you were supposed to get the electrolytes, so I'm going to drink this tonight. This is
lame.
It's big.
Well, you're obviously not trying to save money with this fast because you just spent more than I have all week on food on just those 2 drinks. So
now listen, it was like 2 for $4, I think was the deal at the QT. So, oh my gosh. Anyway, so if I get loopy or if I barf, that's good for ratings, I think.
No.
Make sure you tell everybody that I may barf tonight.
Ratings.
Should I add that to the tweet? And barfing.
Gary may barf. Oh man, how have you guys been this week so far?
Good. Thanks for asking.
Huh. Well, I was expecting more. You caught me off guard.
I just thought maybe we'd open up a little more personally as everybody's filing in. We could just we just interact a little bit and just
well, I've got people into the lives.
Okay, it's too much.
Oh, see, I don't know the boundaries. You got to be clear about the boundaries. All right, go ahead, Rob.
Oh, it's been a busy week for me. I mean, good week, busy week. Finally, kids came back last Thursday. It's been very, very good. We're doing everything right. I think we've got a virtual option for students that aren't comfortable with coming back, and then when kids can't, those who choose to, which is about 2/3 of the population. We're doing things like we've modified transitions. We've got limited number of students in classrooms. Kids are wearing masks now. We can't enforce that. We can't mandate that. Our local laws and regulations won't allow us to mandate it, but we can recommend it. And about 95% of our students are just voluntarily choosing to do so. And they seem to like everything too. And I had a student come to me yesterday and said, look, with the new transitions, I hope when the world finally comes back to normal that we keep with this, because I don't have any temptations to do anything I shouldn't be doing. I know exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm not tempted to go run off and duck out of class with my friends and hide out in the bathroom. I mean, everything's smooth, and the kids have just adapted so well. I'm so proud of them. They're great kids. Like I said, I've known these kids forever. you can't ask for a better group of students at Ridgeland High, aka NWA High, hashtag NWA High. It's been a good week. It's also been, long days. So back at the grind and back in something like a routine. I'm getting there about 5:30, 6 in the morning, and then getting out of there around 4 or 5 in the afternoon. But it's good. I love being back with the kids. So tough week, but a good week.
That sounds good, Rob. Have you scored an event at your school yet for the NWA?
I will. Right now, we've got for those of you who don't know, we do an annual event called the Von Bell Award. The Von Bell Award is named after one of our distinguished graduates, Von Bell, who plays for the Cincinnati Bengals, formerly of the New Orleans Saints, and he's one of our greatest graduates ever. We've had several notable graduates, but he's at the top, and this is kind of like our Heisman Award. Well, we normally do that event in April when we present our Von Bell Awards to our top male and female athletes, and we bring in either Von Bell himself or a notable personality to present the trophy. And because of COVID and us having to restructure things, we've tentatively had to move the date back to October. And the problem with that is, of course, the NFL will be in swing by then, and Von Bell simply won't be able to come. So we're hoping that all those can come and do it. I've asked him; he's very flattered about the invitation, and we're hoping he can come and do it. We just got to make sure that everything's safe and that we're actually able even to put on a program, given what the governor of Georgia is allowing as far as gatherings go. But I'm optimistic that at some point it'll happen in this semester, and I'm looking forward to the champ being there. And I want that to kind of be a launch pad into having some NWA events at our school. We've actually had wrestling events at our school before, but to have the NWA there for me would be everything. I'd love to do it. So, and we think we could draw some considerable local interest because this is a very strong NWA part of the country. So,
WWE Front Row saying that Mrs. Front Row is offering extra credit to kids who wear masks. Have you heard of that?
Ringside Ranch says, "Man, Rob is off tonight." What?
Yeah, well, that's like when you said "hey" and then stared directly at the camera like you had no idea where you were anymore.
We wouldn't offer it. We're a standards-based grading school, so extra credit doesn't really fit into our assessment model or our feedback model that we do. But it's cool that some schools are doing that kind of thing. Our kids are just doing it voluntarily, man, because they seem to be generally a conscientious group of kids, and they're thinking about others. I don't think many of our kids themselves have a lot of personal anxiety, but they're aware that there's a wide spectrum of anxiety in the building. And so, so they're being thoughtful and conscientious. I'm proud of them.
I'm proud of them too. Good job, NWA High. Well, guys, we got to talk about wrestling. There's a lot going on in the wrestling world today. And I guess, where should we start? I mean, do you guys have a preference? I mean, we got Thunderdome. We got Mickie James returned. We've got NWA and UWN's merger, Thunder Rosa, of course, Mission Pro Wrestling. We got a lot. Do you have any preference on direction you want to take it in today first?
I mean, we've already brought up the Thunderdome. We might as well dive on in.
All right. So they're having the Thunderdome.
Yay,
Thunderdome. No, I'm actually really excited about Thunderdome.
Tell us about the Thunderdome for those that don't know.
Okay, so WWE is introducing Thunderdome. In fact, I'll just pull this up right here. So WWE is planning on bringing fans back into the arena via live video, and supposedly the wording is on giant LED boards. And this is all happening in their residency at the Amway Center. They're talking state-of-the-art technology, drones, pyro. I don't know. They're working on this thing right now. If you look online, you can find pictures of the Thunderdome, supposedly from under construction. The only thing I could find really about specifics is Kevin Dunn did talk to Sports Illustrated. He said that The arena will have 1,000 LED boards with rows and rows of fans to simulate the WWE experience. We're flying drones in the arena. We're putting a roof inside the Amway Center, and we'll be able to project content onto the roof. So when a big star like Drew McIntyre comes down to the ring, the whole arena will turn into his content with lasers, pyro, smoke, projections on the top of the building and on the floor. It will be a big, beautiful entrance, better than WrestleMania. So to give you an idea, that's what they're thinking. Nobody's actually seen it yet, right? So we don't know specifically how it's going to go. Supposedly they put up a thing on their website that you could go and you could register to have seats in the arena, quote unquote seats again. But as of this morning, I saw a bunch of people. I saw Joe, who's in the chat with the Nation Show, saying he was trying to go get them and he couldn't get seats. I'm not sure. Did you guys ever hear if that cleared up? Because I did not follow up on that yet.
No, I had not seen that.
Yeah, so Thunderdome having a little trouble right off the bat there. Do you have any other additional information that I'm not mentioning there as far as what to expect with Thunderdome? Rob's already checked out since we're talking to WWE, so I'll go into the speaker view for Will to answer that.
No more information. Just speculation and insight. I mean, I'm intrigued. You mentioned it earlier, Gary, that you're a little bit excited, just to be honest. I am too, because if there is one thing that WWE does well, and there may only be one thing that they do well, it is production and staging and all that. I mean, they are top notch with all that. So I'm really interested to see what it looks like. I think my biggest concern is we're talking 1,000 LED screens, LED boards. Like, how on earth? Now, I'm like a behind the scenes production kind of guy. How on earth are they going to do that? Like, can you imagine 1,000 LED screens with people's faces on it?
No, I can't. And that's crazy. And I'm wondering what they're going to do with drones. What does it mean that when Drew McIntyre walks out, the whole arena turns into his content? That seems...
I think like his intro video and stuff and different. I think that's what they mean. But
yeah, it just feels kind of nutty. But
I mean, it sounds like they're going to enclose the whole thing in like LED screens, and when someone comes out, it's going to be like immersive, just their vignette entrance theme or whatever. But then the other times they're going to have fans on there, and I did hear him say like it's going to be interactive, like they're gonna, I don't remember where I heard this, but like they were gonna encourage fans to like make noise and like start chants and stuff. How is that gonna work? Have you ever tried to do anything on Zoom like in sync with someone else? There's like a 3-second delay. It's like you can't do that kind of. It's gonna be a mess, man.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Like I don't know how you sync that up exactly, and I don't want to give out the wrong impression here. I am super skeptical. I see people in the chat talking about that. I am not even really giving them the benefit of the doubt yet. Like I'm kind of curious. I'm just excited because I want to know what it is. I'm interested to see. I considered going to the registration. Now, if it was going to cost money for like tickets, and it was going to be some like $75 ticket to go sit in the Thunderdome, no, then I'm not going to do that. But I was just curious about what it was going to be. I think that a lot of people probably feel similarly. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. It's kind of interesting. It's a whole new concept. RJ asking in the chat if it's like the NBA. I did pull up the Sports Illustrated article with the interview with Kevin Dunn, and he says, like the NBA, we're doing virtual fans, but we're also creating an arena type atmosphere. We won't have a flat board. We'll have rows and rows and rows of fans. Like Will mentioned, 1,000 LED boards to recreate the arena experience. And he says, we're going to have a little bit more than the WrestleMania level production value, and that's what our audience expects from us. We're also going to put arena audio into the broadcast, similar to baseball, but our audio will be mixed with virtual fans, so when fans start chants, we'll hear them. But yeah, they say they've got 2 days of testing, but We're going to have a very tight set that's focused on the safety of our performers. Everyone is going to be tested all the time. It's really important our performers feel safe. So, I don't know. That's really all the details they seem to give here with this thing. I did find that, like, the latest news item I could find right now. This is from Paul Davis over at WrestlingNews.co. He does say that according to sources, Vince McMahon had been in a pretty volatile mood since the Performance Center tapings, but his mood has been great this week.
Well, that's good. That's what we all want.
Yeah, they had 2 WWE sources that have told him that Vince feels like the worst is over and he feels the company can get back to where things were before the virus came along. He has been in a great mood ever since they locked in the contract with the Amway Center. Another source noted that McMahon seemed more upbeat in the creative meetings. The feeling among people that have been around him is that he believes the ratings will be up for Raw and SmackDown very soon. Vince thinks it might be a few weeks to get the fans back that they lost, but when they realize we are out of the Performance Center and they see how cool the show is, they'll be back. He thinks the numbers can get back to where they were in February and early March. But yeah, that's so, you know, McMahon's in a good mood. So,
I mean, let's get real. What we're all thinking: how long before, if this is live and they're putting live fan reactions on there, how long before you see something wildly inappropriate come across one of those LED screens?
That came up in our Discord for sure. And you guys, if you haven't already, you can click the links in our bios on any of the social medias and join our Discord where we have chats like this. Somebody, definitely did mention inappropriate stuff getting just like thrown up on a screen. There's also opportunity. I mean, Joe in the chat is mentioning that we should get like 100 NWA fan members, hashtag NWA fan members together. That we should get the shirts and the hashtag and everything over that way. So that's another idea. We could just like take over the broadcast, try to just show NWA logos.
I guess so. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, how are they gonna police that? It just doesn't seem feasible. But
yeah, I don't know. And the thing about it is that none of this will fix creative. I mean, that seems to be the real issue. And so I'm happy that Vince is happy. Good for him, but it feels like, dude, you're missing the point. I mean, sure. Yeah. People, the interaction is a part of it. I'm not going to pretend like that's not a factor at all, but, and fans, like, watching it on TV and hearing the fans is also great. But they kind of fixed that a little, I think, enough that it's understandable with like the people surrounding the ring that they do have now. But yeah, I don't know that throwing God knows how much money at this right now in Thunderdome is going to fix it. It's going to work. I think it'll absolutely work for a minute. Yeah. I think there'll be curiosity. I feel like Friday, I don't know, I could be dead wrong, but it feels like Friday SmackDown should be good, like number wise, because they're gonna, people are gonna be like, what is happening over at the WWE right now?
Well, they'll definitely get the curious fans. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna tune in and see what it looks like at first. But I mean, just like you said, I mean, unless they drastically improve their storytelling, I'm not gonna keep watching it. But there's just, I don't know, there's a lot of factors, and just with WWE's track record, it's like, they're going to launch it on Friday with SmackDown, and then they got SummerSlam 2 days later. Like, I mean, unless it's flawless on SmackDown, which would shock me.
Oh God, I would feel terrible if this.
2 days to work out the kinks.
If this is a crash landing and then they've got SummerSlam right around the corner, that's no bueno for whoever's involved with that.
Listen, I love the sentiment behind it. I love the idea. And then a lot of times I think about this and I'm like, well, why didn't they do this at first? Like, they had the resources, they had the means. I guess they didn't know how long all this was going to last, so they were just going to kind of phone it in at the Performance Center. But once they realized 6 months later that it was going to be a while, now they're deciding to step it up. I don't know, but again, I'm curious. I'll check it out because I'm curious. as we always say, I hope it goes well. I hope it's like a big thing and can improve the overall product. But like we said, without, you know, some big improvements in their storytelling and things like that, you know, they might get some casual viewers back, but not longtime pro wrestling fans like us.
Yeah. Checking out the live chat for those of you who aren't here to be a part of it. It looks like it's the consensus is healthy skepticism. I would say it's a little bit of delusion, according to some on Vince's part, but yeah, I don't know. So we're talking about creative, you know, since you know I mentioned that not fixing everything. One of the big deals that happened this week is we got a cool little interview with Rusev coming out, and I was super into this one. It was on Fightful.com, and actually it's a courtesy of the Ryback Show, his podcast, and Rusev was talking to him. And basically Rusev discussed wanting to become a diverse performer in the WWE, similar to how Kurt Angle had done things. He would switch from a comedy act to a wrestling machine, and people could still potentially buy into the character, basically, is what he was going for. And he was saying basically that he had the question in the back, like, why can't I do that? Why can't I have a personality? Why can't I go in the ring and do what I do? And then I was told, don't look at the people, don't smile, don't do this, don't do that. And he says, really, everything I'm doing, it seems like people are into it. I didn't understand why they're telling me to stop talking and stop looking at the fans. And they're telling me to do the opposite thing. And he said he had a conversation with Vince McMahon, and McMahon told him that with Rusev Day, they're just mocking you. They don't mean it. And he said, so his actual quote here is that Rusev Day was going on. There was no way the office didn't notice because it was before, after, during the show. It was everywhere. I always felt defeated because what was I doing it for? It was all competition. And finally, I got to a point of, wow, I'm doing something right. There's no way it wasn't noticed. The first meeting, it was, they're effing with you. They don't mean what they're saying. I respect and I listen because I always want to listen from Vince. He had everybody on his side. In my mind, I knew it wasn't true. They started putting my segments early on, so the Rusev Day chance would go away. I wasn't even supposed to be on WrestleMania the year I lost to Ginger. I was not on TV for like 3 weeks. I'm sitting backstage all night and listening to people chant Rusev Day. I went to one of the writers and I'm like, this is not right. This is the first time I yelled at a writer and I felt bad. He was like, we just don't know what to do. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what to do? Just listen. They're telling you what to do. They're shoving me down and I don't understand why. What am I fighting for? I did everything right. I went to acting classes, started working on my body. I did all this extra stuff. I was just defeated. And when Vince said the second time, they're effing with you, I said, Vince, we sold out of all of the merchandise. What do you mean? He said, the shirt is sold out. And he said, well, maybe they didn't make enough. So, okay, they didn't make enough shirts. And that's why it sold out. Not because we're doing good. Okay, really? He says they didn't know what to do. Good guy, bad guy. Come on, man. He's obviously very, very frustrated. He said that thank God he had done well enough with his investments because he was done not long after that. And his wife works there. She's happy. Good for her. I'm done.
Yeah. This is just further evidence of what we speculate on, that Vince McMahon, WWE, they are not in tune with the fans, because I'm a wrestling fan. And when that was going on, I was not mocking Russo. I was into it. And I think we all were. And the fact that they look at that and they look at the merch sales and say, oh, well, that's a stocking issue, and oh, they're mocking you, just proves that they're not listening to the fans. They're doing whatever the hell they want. And, you know, we went through it for years with Roman Reigns. The fans were like, stop shoving him down our throat. And they kept doing it. I guess they thought we were mocking them then too. I don't know, but it's just sad because Rusev is incredible, and he's an honorable guy. I love, you know, him coming out and giving himself that credit and saying, you know what, I worked on my body. I did acting classes. I did all that, because you could tell. I mean, you could see the improvement in him as a performer, as an athlete. during all that. And when the Rusev Day stuff started happening, I got super amped because I was like, man, he's finally going to get over. They're going to push him. This is great. I mean, dude, he came out at WrestleMania, was it 31 or something like that, in a tank, you know, fighting John Cena. Like, I thought he had a rocket strapped to his back at that point, and then he just like fizzled out. He didn't fizzle out. They fizzled him out. And I mean, he's got all the potential in the world. And I know he's kind of taking a break right now. And that sucks. I mean, I think based on that story, he's probably just jaded a little bit with the wrestling world. And I would be too, man, if I had gone through that and felt
it was a weird thing in that interview. He apparently says, Ryback asked him about it. He says he's hurt. And I can't tell if he meant like hurt, like physically, like actually hurt, or if he's just hurt, like mentally, like he's just like, just don't know what to do with myself. So,
yeah.
But kind of interesting. I figure his no compete would be up by now. So, he could, I mean, that guy feels like he would have a job pretty much anywhere he wants to go. But yeah, man, I don't know. You, like you said, you could tell absolutely he was putting in the effort. He was getting into the Rusev Day thing. He started, I mean, the body thing, like he's talking about, he started working on his body, started taking acting classes, all of this stuff. Like he was getting more and more ripped. Like he was looking like a machine out there. And I don't know, man, what can you do when they just hold you down like that? It sucks. You see that from like guys like the dudes in FTR and all sorts of stuff. I mean, some people are taking the money and I guess they're happy. And if they're happy, good for them. I mean, I think about this every week when I see a clip of Cesaro doing something. I'm like, what is up with this?
There we go.
Rob's here, ladies and gentlemen.
He said Cesaro, a name he recognizes. He's like, what? You know,
no, man, I think Cesaro could be like a top competitor in any other promotion. And for some reason, he's just, you know, he's on there for a few minutes every so often on WWE television. But I mean, literally, WWE has the best wrestling roster. I mean, they do if nothing else, by sheer volume of people, the quality of talent that is on the WWE roster is high quality talent. I mean, because they buy up everybody they can. Yeah. And so it's, I'd say it'd be hard to argue that they probably have like the most talent, like on their roster, period. Not even just number wise, just in general. But it's, I don't know, man. It's just if you don't know what to do with them and you can't make people invest or care, then what's the point?
No, and it almost is a point to where you're now you're starting to damage people, because I've always felt like I know that Shinsuke got the tag the tag championship here recently, but I've always felt like he's one of those ones like Cesaro that's not been used well. It's almost like, you know, WWE buys up all this talent. They've got such a vast empire. They could almost create their own territory system that would be self-competitive and be able to use people properly and build a good culture of wrestling, but it just doesn't happen. It's almost like a vindictiveness. And I'm not saying that that's the case. It just seems that way.
Yeah. And I'll say this. I mean, we say this a lot, but I see Front Row in the chat, you know, talking about criticisms. I mean, I know he agrees with a lot of our criticisms, but, you know, he's talking about the world views WWE as the litmus test for pro wrestling, rising tides, you know, as we talk about all the time. And that's why we criticize it, to be honest, Front Row. I mean, you know, they made $43 million last quarter, you know, and they can't create better storylines. I mean, you're right. They are the litmus test for pro wrestling in America. And they're the reason that, you know, people give me crap about being a pro wrestling fan. I'm like, no, if you watch the NWA, you wouldn't be giving me crap because you'd understand what real pro wrestling is. And so I want to see that culture change. That's why I criticize. I'm not one of the trolls that comes on here and just like, oh, WWE sucks. I mean, we're intelligent wrestling fans discussing, you know, and giving intelligent criticisms of a product that, you're right, is supposed to be top notch, top quality. I mean, they should have the best storytelling. To Gary's point, they've got this great talent, you know, and they should be using it. It's like, you know, what if a film studio hired a bunch of top name actors, and this happens, you know, fill up a movie with every top name actor you can fill it up with, and the script sucks and the direction sucks and it's a terrible movie. like that's going to get criticism. It's like you can't overcome bad storytelling with with good actors. I mean, it just doesn't work. And that's essentially what WWE's done for the last decade, probably. And, I want to see that change. So I don't come on here and bash them for the sake of bashing them or to get clicks or to stir the pot and start controversy. I just want to see pro wrestling reach the level that I know it can. If every promotion, especially the WWE, was run with the proper care and creativity and appreciation for the art of pro wrestling,
Don't you think the NXT though it does achieve that to some level? I feel like of all their products, NXT when that's the I have to confess I don't watch Raw and SmackDown religiously. I'll these guys will send me headlines and I'll peek in when I see somebody like I love Shinsuke. I kind of follow him a little bit, but I do like the NXT stuff. I mean, I feel like there's some really bright and vibrant spots. I'm really intrigued by Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux and what they're doing. And I've actually watched every episode since they debuted on there, and so I feel like that is something at least at least an analogy to what AEW and NWA have done. I mean, what do you guys think?
I agree. I mean, NXT, they've got compelling storylines. I feel like I can't say whether or not those guys are as heavily scripted as Raw and SmackDown guys are, but I mean, not to stir this pot, but NXT isn't headed up by Bruce Pritchard either. So,
I'm just saying.
Well, this is a perfect time to move on to another news item while continuing this conversation. It's that Mickie James made her Mickie James Aldis made her long-awaited re-debut on return, I guess is the word I'm looking for, on WWE Raw this past Monday. And so yesterday, as we're recording this, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time. Anyway, she came back. She was in a match with Natalya, which sounds like on paper, you're like, hey, man, that could be fun. Mickie is a badass. She's a legend, and it's good to have her back. She's been out for a year and a half. That chick's been gone, and she's back, and she's going head-to-head with Natalya, who's another veteran. And the match was what it was. They wrestled around, and Mickie there was interference, and Mickie ended up falling to the ringside and getting a count out, and that was the end of that match. So very disappointing return for Mickie James. Fairness,
the focus during the whole match was on Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins getting into some beef on at ringside, like at commentary. So it was like the match was like background noise, which is to me so disrespectful. I mean, any male legend that they bring on there, it's like promote the hell out of it, get every viewer, give them the last spot or the first spot in the prime time real estate. And Mickie James should be on that level because she is a legend. She is a Hall of Fame caliber WWE talent that they have on their roster. And they bring her in and they put her in a match with Natalya, who's another, incredible performer from a great family, obviously, great draw. And they put him in a match as background music to Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe, and it ends in a count out. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And now I'm just going to say this. And again, I'm not trying to stir the pot, but I did just mention Bruce Pritchard, who did just have some beef with Mickie James Aldis's husband. And he's in charge of Raw. I'm just saying that. I'm not saying that that's why it happened, but it's got to at least enter our minds, right? I'm not the only one who had that thought.
Absolutely not. I mean, my very first thought was that when I saw the ending to that match and the way it played out, I actually went and watched this part of it because I was interested in this and seeing Mickie come back. And especially I was more curious even because the champ, Nick Aldis, even tweeted during the time with the little emoji. But here's the thing. I thought to myself, Mickie, good news and bad news for Mickie and Nick. Good news is it looks like Bruce Pritchard is, if you're looking for the silver lining, he's not treating Mickie any differently than any other talent on the show right now. So it's not hurting. He's not actively, aggressively attacking her, it looks like. Bad news is he's not treating Mickie any differently than any other talent on the show right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like either way, it's not a good look for Pritchard, because either one, he was being catty about this thing and using her to stab at Aldis, or two, he wasn't treating Mickie with the respect that she deserves. So, either way, Pritchard goofed this up, man, and which he is. I mean, he's a goof.
And you go after Pritchard because, I mean, he's obviously the head of this section of the company. So that's why. But anyway, sorry, Will, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, I mean, yeah, no matter how you cut it, it's a bad deal. And the good news is we're not alone in this assessment. Like, she was trending on Twitter, Mickie James was. People were outraged. And, like we said earlier, I don't really have hope that like WWE saw that and was like, oh, we're sorry, we'll make it up and we'll do something. But I don't think that's going to happen just with their track record. But it's at least comforting to know that wrestling, the wrestling world and the wrestling community, along with us, was outraged that she was disrespected so badly. It was uncalled for. And they showed their true colors. Like you said, either he's being petty about it and acting like a child and punishing Nick's wife because of something stupid he said, or they just don't know how to book people correctly because she's a legend and she should be treated like one. That's my point.
Yeah. The thing is that one of my biggest problems, I want to be fair, and I want to say like WWE Front Row was saying in the chat, and like give the benefit of the doubt, and the rising tide lifts all ships, hope they do well and all of that stuff. And I'm sure Bruce Pritchard has a very busy job, and I'm not pretending like I would do it better or anything like that. So all of that out of the way, I wish I could have faith that this was something more long-term, and I just don't. Like what have they ever, it feels like they don't prove themselves weekly to make you think this is worth anything. It's like they just brought her back to drop her outside the ring and count her out. And it's just like Will called it, background music for an actual match. It's like they cannot just, Mickie James comes back and she's a person who gives a crap about the match that she's in. She's focused, obviously. I mean, in fairness, they did a backstage segment with Mickie James where she was interviewed for WWE.com or whatever. And she gets interviewed in the thing and she talks about her frustrated. This is not how she saw her return going. This is, and she comes back and the women are acting like divas are always on the phone or something. Like Natalia's even obsessed with social media and this is not what she expected and yada, yada, yada. And it leads you to think that maybe there is a storyline plan here. But put it on the show, like put that on the actual TV show, like not just her losing for nothing with nothing else on there. Not everybody's going to the WWE.com stuff and watching these little extra bonus clips. You finally got somebody whose character is actually that she seems to want to win a match, what seems like such a difficult thing to get out of the WWE right now. Here's a person actually actively just talking about trying to win a match. She wanted to make a return and win. And because think about Raw. Read the results of Raw and tell me what other person looks like they're there because they want to be a champion or they want to win a match. They treat it like a competition, like a sporting. No, it's always like personal feuds, which is fine. You got to get personally invested, but it's like Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins poking each other's eyeballs out. And Randy Orton's got to kick every old man in the world in the head, which is, by the way, a gimmick he's already done when he was the Legend Killer. But it's just this, I don't know, man. I just don't get it. It's Ray and Seth with the eyeball thing. It's the Lena Vegas poisoning Montez Ford. The cops aren't even called for any of this stuff. Like, it's just like they're literally trying to kill each other.
And we haven't even talked about retribution.
Oh yeah, whatever that is, like, which makes zero sense on anything they've done so far. And it's like, how about you're supposed to be doing a simulated sporting event, and the only person that cares about it seems to be her character, at least so far, is Mickie James. And even she's just like tossed to the side like she's nothing. I feel like, I mean, God bless him. Maybe Nick Aldis, the real world's champion, is watching right now and is like, Gary, you're not thinking about the long term. They've got a plan for her. And I'm just an idiot. But that's the way it feels right now, man. Well, it's just like, why can't you just care?
That's not why you're an idiot.
Oh, thank you.
There's plenty of other reasons.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And it was mentioned in the chat room too, WWE hasn't had a great track record of being nice to Mickie James in the past. And I remember the Bellas and the Piggy James stuff and the ridiculous crap that they've put her through. And this is a women's champion, a multi-time women's champion, and a very good wrestler. And I'm sure that Natalya's on the other end of that too. They would love to just go in there and have an actual wrestling match, where they gave Natalya the gimmick where she farted a lot last time I was regularly watching WWE. So what do you want me to have faith in here? Like, I don't know why you would think I wouldn't be a little bit bitter about all of this. None of it makes sense to me. And
it's not simulated combat sports. It's just dumb, just dumb.
No.
Yeah, it's like they cannot rely on the reason that, I mean, literally on Raw, not one, I don't think maybe one match had like a regular finish, like just an actual finish to a match. But then they're expecting you to tune in for 4 hours of in-ring competition on SummerSlam. Like, I mean, what?
Well, and then they have a pay-per-view the week after SummerSlam. They're doing Payback. So are we supposed to think that any of that stuff's going to be paid off on SummerSlam? No, they're not going to pay any of it off on SummerSlam. They're going to try to get you to come back and watch the next week too. Like, I don't know why they're doing that, but yeah. And I want to have faith in storylines. I want to, Gary. I just, they don't have that equity with me, and they can build that equity with me by improving. But as of right now, they don't have that equity.
There's nothing happening right now that makes me want to go back to being a regular viewer of Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. I mean, now SmackDown's got Thunderdome, so at least they've got that. I did tune in to see the clips of Mickie James' return, and that was, again, not worth my time. And not on the performers, by the way, just making that very clear. But speaking of, I thought one way, like if you really wanted to turn this around right now, and God help us, I doubt that they would even let her do this. But if Mickie James wanted to go full heel right now and just take that attitude of being invested in the actual wrestling and wondering what the hell is wrong with everyone else, and just going like full Bret Hart heel turn of like, you people are uneducated swine. Like, what are you doing? This is not a wrestling company. I'm the only person here who's an actual wrestler who does, like if she ran with that stuff, like get like her and a Shayna Baszler in on that kind of thing, well, that'd be pretty awesome. They could run with that. Maybe that would seem like legit, at least.
Well,
anyway,
we'll see, I guess. I don't know.
I've ranted. I'm sorry. Speaking of real women wrestlers, Thunder Rosa was on the Alliance blog this week. So that's good. And it was a really good interview, actually. They went a long time and recapped like basically her whole career. J. Cal, our boy, did an excellent job there. So if you haven't seen that yet, make sure you check out the Alliance blog. Their YouTube page has posted that interview right now, and it's video. I'm sure you can listen to it on the podcast feed as well. But that just came out on the 17th, so yesterday. So definitely worth checking out. Did you guys have any notes or anything about that?
No, it was great. Definitely go check it out. Always good to hear from the champ, and especially to hear her talking to our good buddy J. Cal. So it's a good listen. If you're in our Discord, J. Cal shared out the link. If not, we'll probably post it in the comments here, so you can go check that out.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much from it, but I will just tell you, for those of you who listen to J. Cal, you'll know that this is one whoever he interviews, he always has a way of placing his host within the context of the history of the NWA. And that's certainly the case in this one. Very, very good interview, very thorough in classic J. Cal fashion. You're going to learn a lot about her career. A lot of it you're going to know already, but Jay Cal just he's good at what he does and he knows his stuff. And so you want to have the man who is the living authority next to Hornbaker on the NWA. It's Jay Cal, and having him sit down with Thunder Rosa is a treat. So make sure you give it a listen.
Yeah. And to throw it out there for people offering other ideas, I was just communicating with Joe in the chat from the Nation show. You guys, that's an excellent show. You guys should check out. He says, I'll throw out another promotion. What's stopping us from watching Impact on Twitch right now? If WWE is doing it for you, why not give them a chance? Well, we actually were trying to get Impact on last week on Tuesday night, and the stream crashed or something weird happened. But right now, I mean, we're just in routine. So we're usually on Tuesday night. So that's just really the only reason, but it's been tossed around that we're interested in Impact.
I'm super interested in Impact, and especially, the renewed interest coming off Slammiversary and some of the ex-WWE talent that they picked up. Because as I've said, for a long time since, all those people were released by WWE, that I couldn't wait to see them land back on their feet somewhere. So I'm interested to see those guys obtain some success and impact. So I'm definitely interested in it. But as Gary said, we tried to tune in last week, and I think the Twitch stream crashed or something like that. So, but Tuesday nights starting September 15th, we're going to have NWA wrestling to watch finally. So we're obviously excited about that. So I'm anxiously awaiting that.
Yeah, and that means we'll probably be moving to a new night. Tentatively, Thursday is what we've said, but we'll have to talk about it, I guess, and make sure. But yeah, we can't. Well, they're not going to be over till like 10:30, so I'm not going live then. My wife will kill me. But anyway, Rob's got full control of his household, and nobody tells him what to do. So
they all sleep. They sleep, and Rob just stays up all night. So.
Let's keep talking about women's wrestling for just a second, if we could, because we always like to give a quick shout out since we're on the subject of great women's wrestling and our women's champion, the holder of the Burke. That title's being defended very, very soon on Friday, September the 18th. If you guys aren't aware, straight out of Texas, Hell Hath No Fury, missionprowrestling.net is where you want to go. You can purchase tickets to go see this event live. They will require face masks. If live's not your thing or face masks aren't your thing, stay indoors, please. And then you should get this thing on the Title Match Network. You can stream it right there. It's going to be awesome. Friday, September the 18th, Hell Hath No Fury. You've got a ton of matches, a stacked card, a completely woman-run entity here. This is great stuff. But more importantly than anything I could ever tell you, even besides like AEW's Big Swole's actually going to be at this event, you've got Thunder Rosa, the NWA women's champion, the real women's world champion. And she is going to be defending that title against the American Kaiju, Lindsay Snow, possibly one of her strongest contenders to date. Both of these women's are badasses in and out of the ring. I cannot wait for this match. I'm excited. Rob's going in person. Rob, how excited are you right now?
Man, I'm pumped, man. Tanya, of course, is thrilled to be. She can't wait to be in Austin, but she's looking forward to this too. And Thunder's husband's already said that even though I'll be, back in the back, way far away, socially distanced from everybody, Tanya's going to get to be up in the front row on ringside. So she'll let me know how the sights and the sounds were when I'm way back there in the back in that arena there in Buda, Texas. But I'm really excited, man. Actually looking at this other event too coming up here at the end of the month about maybe trying to get myself there, but just seems I need a little more information before I can drop the $75 on that ticket.
Yeah, that event that Rob's talking about is like the international. Is that what it's called? International
Independent Wrestling Expo.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to pull it up here. But this is the tough part. If you guys check this thing out, Rob and I were talking about it. It is tough to find a lot of detail about this thing.
I did chit chat with the champ, and he did confirm that it is a legit thing, and that though he doesn't know much about the promotion, he's booked and he's been paid. So he is going to be there. And I guess my concerns are, I know that with Mission Pro, they're doing everything right. They've got the COVID protocols in place. I mean, this is a well-sponsored thing. This event is happening. So I know that we're going to go down there and we're going to be there. The other one, my concerns are just like, I don't know enough about. I know that Texas was hard hit and that there's a lot of restrictions there that might not be in place in a place like, say, Georgia. So I'm just concerned. So yeah, I'd like to know more, because I found that if I went by myself, I could fly in that morning. The flight wouldn't be much at all. I could fly in that morning and leave out the next morning in time to be back to what I need to be at Saturday night, or a Sunday night. So I just want to make sure that's that this is like, that they're doing things right, that they're not hurting people into a place where it's going to be unsafe, and not that I think that it is. I just don't have enough information to I don't know anything about it, I guess.
Yeah, that's the tough part. But besides just the champ being there, he's supposedly in a triple threat against Jeff Cobb and a mystery opponent defending the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. Based on this poster, Thunder Rosa is going to be going up against Alex Garcia. And no word yet on if that is a title match there. But it's crazy packed, full of talent. A lot of people there. I'm seeing like Lance Archer, Jacob Fatu, Matt Sydal. I'm just like bouncing through this. Laredo Kid there, Jordan Grace, Warhorse, Sean Spears versus Brian Pillman Jr. It looks like in a co-main event. Jake the Snake is going to be there. It is ridiculous. Looks like a hell of an event. August 28th and 29th, 2020.
Yeah, 2-day event, and I think the seats for that are. I think there's a whole event pass, but basically, if you want to buy one day, it's $75. So that's pretty steep, for an event like that, and that's just to get into the expo. I don't know what all comes with that, but actually, the airfare is not much. You can find a American Airlines flight for about $50 from where we're at round trip, and so that would be nothing for me. But I guess I just want to know if is this really happening? It's just so weird that we're not hearing anything about it. So.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing like the talent promote it more than anything, which is what's interesting about it. So it's just it's kind of crazy. Like even the person that's supposedly putting on the event's it doesn't seem to be like pushing it out as much. And I'm not trying to knock anybody. I just mean it makes it kind of weird for a person to, like you said, fork out that much money for it. And but I wish them well. I hope it's a successful event.
And I'm excited that the champ is going to get to defend the belt, and this will be the first defense in over 100 days, and so that's fantastic. And as we talked to him earlier, hopefully this will be a launching pad for him to do something along the lines of another Aldous Crusade, where he's able to do and tour some more and visit the independent promotions and showcase the real class of professional wrestling against the best that the indies have to offer. So I think it'd be fantastic for the NWA, fantastic for the business as a whole. But to the Mission Pro thing, this is like they're wire. This is a sleek promotion. They look good. Everything they're doing is right. They've got landed a fantastic venue. They're being very professional about how they're promoting it. So I'm real pumped. I can't wait. It's like 4 weeks from now. I'm looking forward to it like crazy.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, just for anybody listening, I do see that always we're grateful to have Brian Cervantes in the chat. Thank you, sir, for being here again. And he is saying that this event is being promoted heavy in Texas. So
is this the August event?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's for the Independent Pro Wrestling Expo. So I guess they're mainly targeting that area. So I guess they assume they're not going to get as much out of travel, possibly something like that. So The next thing I want to talk about is I've seen this popping up in the chat here recently. Like people were like, "Oh, we're talking about Thunder Rosa and title defenses," and people were like, "Man, I'd love to see Thunder Rosa go up against Sheeta. That would be cool." And then that's interesting because Sheeta being the women's champion in AEW, not the real women's champion, but she is a women's champion in AEW, obviously. Then I'm seeing people talk about they'd love to see the NWA and AEW work together. WrestlingHeadlines.com has a post up. If you missed it, I mentioned the Alliance Blogs interview with the champ Thunder Rosa, but also the Shining Wizards Wrestling podcast just recently interviewed the champ. And they asked her about possibly answering that open challenge from Hikaru Shida, if she'd be interested in that. And she said, quote, "They know where I live. They know my number. They can find me on my social media. Shida knows. Everybody knows. The fans are asking for it. I don't know if the AEW women's division is ready for me, honestly. To be 100% honest with you, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think they're ready for me? Honestly, in all honesty, if that ever happened, man, it would be, kind of what you guys saw with Allison Kay. Magic. I'm ready. I'm ready for anybody." So Thunder Rosa is ready to go with anybody, anytime, anywhere. Sheeta's got an open challenge. If Sheeta is just tossing that thing around like she doesn't think that Thunder Rosa has the cojones to answer, then that's probably bad business, because Thunder Rosa definitely is not afraid to walk onto that AEW set and issue that challenge. So wait and see. Who knows? Who knows what may happen with Thunder Rosa? Would you guys love seeing Thunder Rosa versus Hikaru Shida?
Absolutely. And just as a note, just for everyone that's unaware, AEW Dynamite, just in case you do want to kind of check up on it and see if anything happens, it's going to be on Saturday night this week instead of Wednesday night. They're moving it. So tune in Saturday. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think we know Thunder Rosa well enough to know that she's scrappy and she's not backing down from anything. If her name's brought up in the mix, she's going to defend her honor, and she's not backing down from any challenge from anybody. She's fearless, and so I would love to see it. I think Sheeta's one of the greatest in the world right now, and of course, I think Thunder Rosa is the greatest in the world. So this to me is another one of those dream matches I'd love to see. I think Lindsay Snow, I see a lot of her being mentioned for folks who might not know her. Lindsay Snow is also one of those. I think she's more of an unsung hero because she's done she's been a journeyman in the independent world, but she's also, she's been in the NWA. She did Circle Squared, and was billed at AEW for, teased her out a little bit. And she's just one of the greatest in the world too. I mean, one of the best looks, one of the raddest wrestlers, one of the best talents. So between those two potential challenges, I think you got two of my dream matches right there: Sheeta versus Rosa and Lindsay Snow versus Rosa.
Yeah, it's going to be that would be a hell of a pay-per-view seller if something like that would ever go down. I know I would be all on it. When maybe WWE should have called Thunder Rosa too, but you want to boost your ratings, get Thunder Rosa there. That's all we're saying.
You want to really make it the Thunderdome.
Booyah!
Oh,
got him.
It's Thunder.
Listen to this guy. That was clever.
Clever.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm jealous. I didn't think of that.
Well, you're always jealous, a little bit jealous of me. So that's par for the course.
That's also true. Oh man. So guys, that was the news that I had run down on this list here. Was there other stuff that you guys wanted to talk about today in the news chat room? Any other wrestling news?
Man, there is a big piece of news you left out, man. There's two pieces of news. One, MMA has started a new job. Oh my
God. Yes. Congratulations, Wrestling with the MMA, on the new job. He got a brand new job, and he's going to be able to work from home. He was super excited about it. We're going to give a shout out to that guy. That's very, very cool stuff.
That's awesome. And then the other piece of news is that we have a new member of the hashtag NWA fam.
That's right. Mr. and Mrs. WWE front row, or as we like to call them, NWA second row. They have adopted a child, a brand new member of the hashtag NWA fam. It is a giant baby Yoda, like
Not really
2
Yoda.
feet.
Not really Yoda. He's from that species, but it's not correct to call him a baby Yoda.
That's. I mean, I guarantee you type Baby Yoda in Google right now. If you want to take this, if you want to get sidetracked on this, then you can just Google Baby Yoda.
You're talking about a Toyota. A bad signals to Will, man.
You talking about a Toyota like a car?
Baby Yoda.
I'm not following.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't recognize it, but it's a 2 foot long, probably 5 pound Baby Yoda.
Actually, life size.
Yeah, so life size. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Front Row, on your new child.
We're all very happy.
Oh man! All right, so we've covered some hashtag NWA fam news in there. What else? What else is out there, fellas?
I'm seeing that Mass Fan did a video in which he was mistaken by 10 people for being Rey Mysterio Jr. Allegedly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that on the Twitter feeds today. Let me see if I can find it here. He says, I went on Omegle to record a react video for my YouTube of me wearing my Ray Fury official wrestling mask, and 10 asked if I was Rey Mysterio. So that's kind of interesting.
Looks like Goldberg. I just decided to scroll the headlines to see if anything new came out. Pop Culture Show was run by one of Bill Goldberg's buddies, and he confirmed there that his WWE commitment is still going strong. At 53, I never would have imagined this, especially after making fun of Flair when he was doing it in his early 40s. But he apparently has a contract through 2023 with the WWE for 2 appearances per year. So he's already exhausted that for this year. But we probably haven't seen the last of Goldberg.
And there was another article, I don't have it pulled up, but I think Cody Rhodes had squashed any rumors that AEW had been interested at one time about bringing in Goldberg. And it just kind of like laid to rest and basically said like, no, we weren't really interested in him.
Yeah, supposedly that's from the Jim Cornette experience on that show. They were talking about AEW and running down a show, and Cornette said that Khan had been interested in bringing in Goldberg and having him rekindle the streak, like start that process up again. And but Cody was saying that was not true. They had no contact. So I don't know.
I'm glad that's the case. Because I was a huge fan of Goldberg, when he was Goldberg. And, I popped when he came back a few years back, but it's just one of those things. It's like, I get bringing back legends and I get that, but like, it just never materialized into anything that like got me excited, and maybe people in the chat feel different, and maybe you guys are like super amped when Goldberg fights in Saudi Arabia or something like that, but it just, I don't know, for me it was just weird.
I think I'm amped when anybody fights in Saudi Arabia, because I just think it's a great thing for humanity. It's a great cultural exchange, whether it's NWA, AWW. I love seeing those women in burqas being able to pull the veil back for a while and watch this entertainment, seeing kids up there get excited about professional wrestlers. I love the Saudi Arabia shows. I know there's been a lot of controversy about that, especially when the travel was held back and they were trapped there for a little bit and stuff. But for me, it was like very surreal. But Goldberg, man, I never felt him. I always felt like when he came out, like it felt to me like it was the WCW's attempt to imitate Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I don't know that was it. Obviously, I wasn't, the internet wasn't in full swing back in those days. It was just in, kind of a novelty, and we were all on dial up and, stuff. But I never really felt him. So, and no shade on him. I think he was impressive. It was certainly a spectacle, and there was a lot of fun moments there. But I never got into Goldberg.
Well, in other news today, we found out that Rob is the person that liked the Saudi Arabia shows, so that's good.
Say that.
I couldn't tell if you were being serious or not.
No, I mean, I thought I was impressed. I was very impressed just of the fact that it being there. You know what I mean?
I'm going to let my negativity take a break on this one. I'm glad you were impressed.
Good. Yeah. I'm glad somebody was happy that it exists. But I
think that to the extent that we can do things that's to spread goodwill, and if wrestling can be one of those vehicles, then why not? I mean, I thought it was pretty cool from that global politics diplomacy standpoint. I'm not saying the shows were fantastic. They were, I mean, they weren't, but I still thought I was very impressed to see it take place.
I saw it as, you know what? We probably shouldn't get into this, but I saw it as WWE being used as a tool of propaganda. Is what I saw.
That may be, but the people in attendance there got to see something of the likes that they never got to see before, and they got to be exposed to wrestling on a level that we just don't appreciate because we have an overabundance of it here. Those kids that were in that front row are going to have stories that they'll tell their kids for the rest of their life, and to the extent that it demysticized the image of what the West is, and to the extent that it may have instituted a little bit of goodwill there, or brought a little bit of goodwill between the heart of the Arab world and the Western world. I think that's a good thing for diplomacy.
I hope you're right, Rob. I hope you're right.
I am.
At least he's confident.
Yeah, there you go. So the only other thing I had here is there has been more details released on the Sonya Deville incident, that she received a temporary injunction against the stalker, and that's supposedly going to be more permanent by the end of this week. But more details were released on the actual thing. When she released a statement saying that she went to bed, she was awakened by a security alarm and alerted that a sliding door that led to her, I'm going to be honest with you, it says Lanai, Lanai. I have no idea what that is. I'm an idiot, I guess. But
it's like a rich people have that. I don't know. We don't have that.
Anyway, so that the door went to her rich person thing. It says that she awakened her house guest, Amanda Sacamano, who is better known as Mandy Rose. DeVille went to check on the sliding door and said that she was ensuring that the door was locked. She looked up and saw Thomas. DeVille said that she asked him, "What are you doing? What do you want?" At which point he began walking toward her. That is when I realized this person was not here to rob me. He was here to hurt me. DeVille's petition said, according to Tampa Bay Times report, Thomas was armed with a knife, pepper spray when he approached DeVille. She told Rose that there's a man in the house and they had to get out. So they left and called 911. Basically saw from security footage he had followed her into the house, but he thought that she had run up the stairs, which left her and Mandy Rose enough time to escape the house. So he was just confused on where they went. But anyway, so very scary story for Sonya Deville. Glad that she's okay and Mandy Rose are okay. That's crazy stuff, man. World's a weird place sometimes.
Yeah, and we don't know what these people go through on a day-to-day basis, and how scary having that level of prominence is. And so, I hope. I mean, when I hear that story, I'm like, man. She's got to be traumatized. Like, imagine going through that. So I just hope she's all right. Mentally, emotionally. I hope her and Mandy both. And I'm glad they got the guy. And I'm glad that hopefully they can move on from this. But it is a good reminder that these are real people, and they go through things behind the scenes that we don't even know about. And we give the WWE hell all the time, but we have massive amounts of respect for everyone who is in the profession of professional wrestling, especially the performers that are in the ring and that are, sacrificing their time and body and energy to entertain us all. And so, I hope everyone's all right and they can move on from this.
I want to thank Dr. Red Tyler for informing us in the chat that a lanai is a porch or patio, usually in Florida. Also front row, I see you've said that as well. A screen porch in Florida, usually around a pool. Lots of homes have them. Well, not my home, front row. So thanks for rubbing that in. But yeah, apparently the deputies gave the name of this person to Sonya Deville, and she searched her social media accounts to find any interactions with him. But they found several messages that he had been apparently like messaging her steadily. I don't think that she saw these before. They said the nature of these messages were obsessive, suicidal, and idolizing, saying, "You are the only person I will ever love." There was a second account from that person also seeming to belong to him. It said, "I found your home address." It like goes into detail saying like that from that day, just hours before the incident, "Look outside, baby, by your pool. I'm here. I'm going to kill that little B word you have inside with you." So this is a obviously seriously disturbed person. And anyway, so I wish we had some lighter news to go to right now, because
I'm just going through my private messages I've been sending to May Valentine, thinking, man, I need to clean my act up. this junk right here, boy, liable to get me in trouble.
That's Rob.
That's concerning.
I actually was, as I was reading that though, just sitting there thinking like, man, some people that you like DM like to see like for like interview requests or like possible like just discussing like just or just even compliment or anything, you got to think about what these people get in those inboxes all the time. Like it is, there is some crazy stuff out there, and you know, obviously this person is going to need to get some help, and hopefully that happens. Jail, probably. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's going to jail. I don't think there's.
I'm less concerned about his, you know, his well-being.
Oh, Rob, we're trying to be empathetic here. Is all.
I'm empathetic to the person who is assaulted.
Well, she's okay now, though, is what I'm saying. It's,
I'm sure she's quite traumatized, like we were saying a minute ago.
Rob, you seem very combative today.
What are you talking about?
What is the story with Nia Jax? What is that going on in the chat? Is there a Nia Jax story going on?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. She's back.
I mean, there's a lot of chatter about her being unsafe, but
dude, I forgot I was going to mention something about the Mickie James story from earlier in her tweet when she was referring to the TikTok videos and like, what are you, a 13-year-old girl? I was like, dude, was that a jab at Will? I was like, did she just take a shot at Will?
No. Yeah, that was definitely specifically towards me. Follow me on TikTok, by the way, at Real Hey It's Will with 1 L. Just a cheap plug.
Yeah, you can find a lot of fun stuff on TikTok. God, Rob, I tell you what, Dr. Red Tyler is becoming my favorite doctor now.
Ooh.
Well, who was your favorite before? It was Dr. Tom Pritchard before that, right?
Yeah, obviously, but
mine's Dr. Death.
Oh, gotcha. Who are some? Mine's Dr. Isaac Yankem. Really is my ultimate favorite. That should be a whole show one day. Favorite doctors in wrestling.
Wrestling doctors, yeah.
Why would you use the PhD thing in your wrestling gimmick? Why is it just Robbie Roode? Why wouldn't it be Dr. Robert Roode?
Robbie Roode, I was not yet a doctor. You know, I wasn't born a doctor, Gary. You know, I earned my doctorate in 2010. And
you're very salty.
What are you talking about?
You're a doctor.
Y'all gonna like bust me out about the Saudi thing. Then we're gonna
we let the Saudi thing ride. If you remember,
and now we're gonna boohoo about this poor guy who nearly tried to kill Sonya.
I just said hopefully he gets the help he needs. The guy,
he can get it doing 15 to life. Plenty of help, you know. But now I by the time I became a doctor, I'd already been in the game for like 5 years, man. You know, I'd already been established.
Oh, God.
Rob, have you ever been in a situation where someone was like injured and, you know, people are like, is there a doctor around? And you have to go like, yeah, but no, I can't do anything.
Nah, I've been in that situation. I'll just go ahead and act like, you know, just like, hey, if I can Google it,
I need a tracheotomy. Give me a scalpel.
Bring up Google videos real quick. Bring up YouTube.
You got YouTube on your phone. You're just like, okay, let's see.
Yeah, like this is WebMD right here. Hold on.
I think the heart's right here. Sir, that's his ankle.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I just happened to stumble upon WWE Front Row's tweet from yesterday saying they've got 8 women's championships. Oh no, this is David LaGreca. He's quoting David LaGreca. They've got 8 women's championships between the 2 of them. Mickie James, 6-time champion, hasn't wrestled on Raw in over a year. You give me a 3-minute match and 50% of the match you don't even see. So Dave LaGreca was apparently unhappy with that as well.
Of course. LaGreca has a lot of opinions akin to the opinions that we have, I think.
Yeah, you're probably right. Hey, he's been on the show before, by the way.
He has. Go check out the interview. It's down on our channel in the interview playlist. Go check it out.
He was way less salty than Rob. Oh my God. All right.
There's a lot of things less salty than Rob.
Well, if there's no other news, I'm going to wrap up the podcast portion. So is there anything you guys want to get out of this before we wrap that? Anything you want to say to the listeners that might not be here in the live chat so they can hear Rob's further descent into madness?
I just want to say thanks for listening. As an avid podcast listener myself, every day on my commute, I appreciate the podcast crowd, and we talk a lot and interact a lot with the live chat here on YouTube. If you want to be a part of that, come join us, youtube.com/the NWA pod. Subscribe, like, interact with us on Sundays and Tuesdays, probably soon to be Thursdays. And let's just keep building the hashtag NWA fam community.
Yep. Again, we look forward to these 2 nights every week. When we're away from you, we miss you. And you guys feel like family. And again, I'm at our Stinson 4 at the NWA pod every Tuesday and Sunday night. You can catch my show on Fridays, Piper's Notes. We've got a really good episode coming this Friday with King Shane Williams, who is the mainstay in the Southeastern independent wrestling scene. He's a good friend of Nick Aldis, has wrestled him many times, and we're actually going to air a match with the permission of AML Wrestling on Thursday night, the main event of WrestleK 2019, December 1st, 2019. Nick Aldis defending the NWA title against King Shane Williams. You can see that exclusively on the This is the NWA podcast YouTube channel. So look forward to that coming out Thursday, and then to be followed by King Shane live, or not live, but on Piper's Notes on Friday.
I am at This Is Gary Horn. The podcast is at the NWA pod on all of the social medias. Will, did you say yours? I'm sorry.
At Hey It's Will with 1 L.
Yeah. So you guys give us a follow on the social media. And if you haven't yet, go to youtube.com/the NWA pod. Hit that subscribe button. Even if you're going to listen to us mostly, just go do that. Help us out. Gets us in front of more people. We've had a boost in the subscribers, and we appreciate that. We are grateful to all of you. And as always, we're going to cut out of here on the podcast portion of the show and go straight into the live chat and just talk about whatever. Sunday night, it ended up being, I don't know what that was on Sunday night, but
stick around to see if it happens again.
I was about to say, I anticipate more of the same. So we are grateful to all of you. Thank you so much. And until next time, enjoy your gravy cake. All right. And that'll be the podcast portion. Rob, have you calmed down?
Uh-oh. What is that?
No. God, here we go. Can you cut? I think, Gary, you're the host. You can just cut Rob's video and mute him. You have that power.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it worked. Look at that. Stop video. I can. Wow, that is awesome.
Sorry, I told you about that.
I can't turn it back on though, Rob. I'm so sorry. Okay, there. I said I had to ask you. You have to unmute too, Rob.
I don't think he knows how.
He does have confused face. He's still talking though. He knows he's muted. You can tell he knows he's muted, but he's still talking to us.
Just hit him. It just hit him.
All I'm saying is the next time you do that will be the last time. That's all I'm saying. Brian Rosa, it's a job opening coming, bro. They don't pay much, but it's a lot of fun.
Oh man,
we actually charge.
Yeah,
it costs money to be a part of this.
We charge
the first time one of us is spending time out, so that's
gravy cake time out. I like
it. Dr. Rob, gravy cake time out. You're in it, buddy.
So what are we going to talk about?
I don't know. Hopefully Rob's planning to get us some of that. Yeah, back to Saudi Arabia. Are you going to get us some of that money for all the propagandizing you're doing for them here?
I didn't know you were on the payroll.
It's propaganda. It's propaganda. I'm just looking at the greater good that's being achieved by it. Like the fact that professional wrestling, an American professional wrestling company, is there to be able to perform in front of people that have not normally women. I mean, women are in that audience, allowed to interact and engage like human beings that they are, to be entertained in a mode that we get to experience and take for granted all the time. And I was moved by it, but not the matches. I mean, the matches, especially like the Goldberg stuff. Yeah, I was critical of that too, like the details of what happened. But the fact that the event happened, it's kind of like the Goodwill show that they did in North Korea we talked about the other night. I think that's great for humanity. If people get to see that, if real people get to see it. Now I understand that governments control who gets to see what and who gets.
I was about to say, was it even the real people of Saudi Arabia? I seem to recall it was strictly that prince's extended family. It was like all those people.
Those kids there can't help being the kids of the princes. They're children, and they get to see this phenomenal spectacle of professional wrestling, the greatest sport in the world. They don't get to see baseball. They don't get to see the things that we get to. And these kids and women, whether women are in the families of princes or not, they're treated as second class, even less than humans. And there they are, engaging, smiling, being entertained. I just liked watching their faces, man. And I thought it was an amazing achievement just to do it. Whatever Vince was trying to achieve or gain from it, that's irrelevant to me.
I don't even think it was Vince trying to gain. It was them trying to be accepted by the rest of the world for doing exactly that same stuff that you're talking about right now and saying, look, everybody else likes us too, so we're not any different. It's okay for us to do the things that we do.
Well, I don't think anybody's saying that either. That's kind of a Cliff Notes way of putting it. But I think that
that's the goal.
If your goal is, hey, we can get accepted by doing Western things, and I think that's a great idea. Yeah, you're right. We've been trying that with China for years. If you imitate the freedoms of the West, you will be accepted. And so if you're putting on a facade of pretending to be the West, do it more often. In fact, do it every day, because that's exactly what you should do. They didn't. But
that's what I'm saying. So what are you talking about?
They got a taste of freedom, man. They got a taste of it. A taste of it's better than none of it.
I guess.
I'm gonna make some popcorn. This is a good movie.
I'm just saying, you got a lot of empathy for the Saudi prince and none for the mentally ill person that was in Florida.
No, I don't. I never said I had empathy for the Saudi prince, Gary. Come on now.
I mean,
I heard that.
That's what I heard.
I have no empathy.
You were hoping this broadcast got to him so that he invites you. That's what you said.
I would. Yeah, hey, man.
You said it in the chat. You said it in the Discord.
Hey, guilty. No, I don't have any empathy for anybody that violates human rights, whether it's a Saudi prince or a person who's stalking and potentially going to harm or kill somebody. I don't have any empathy for them. But if people, no doubt, whether it's in the United States or in China or in Germany or England or the UK or Saudi Arabia, are manipulated for sure. but those people got to have a taste for that one night on multiple occasions, got to have a taste of the fruits of freedom. And if Saudi Arabia feels like in order to be accepted by the Western world, we have to pretend to be like them. And I'm not trying to like make a value assumption about the superiority of Western culture over Arabic culture, because I think there's many amazing things about Arabic culture. But, Saudi Arabia is one of the most repressive countries in the world. And those women that were there that might be members of these royal households, they're repressed. I don't care what privilege their household they're a part of. But on that occasion, they got to see the best, some of the best entertainers in the world put a show on for them, and they got to see the fruits of the freedoms that we enjoy. And if they, if that means doing that more often gets them more acceptance, I'm saying do it all the time, do it weekly until they can't stand to be without the freedoms that we enjoy. That's how revolutions were started.
But surely you can understand the people that are coming from the viewpoint that it may give the impression that by partnering with them, the WWE is, in a sense, condoning some.
No,
choices.
I don't accept that at all. But the WWE is not.
I'm not saying you accept it. I'm saying, can you see how a vast majority of the American public would think that, though?
I think that a vast majority of people often believe incorrect things. So that's I don't play the numbers game. That's
not what I asked you.
But you're asking me a question that's irrelevant. I don't care if they think that. That's not, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna hold somebody accountable for somebody's faulty assumptions. That's the whole impetus behind cancel culture. You said this, you must mean this, therefore you're canceled. I reject that. I don't care if most of the public believes that or not.
There was a lot of other reasons to cancel.
Being on the side of numbers is a very bad partner to choose, by the way. Historically, there have been many instances in the case where the public supported a movement that was flat out wrong and that we've come to reject these days.
You've misunderstood the question. I didn't say, can you understand mob mentality? I get that. I'm saying, can you understand? We talk about empathy, looking at it from a different point of view. Can you understand, though, why some people would interpret it differently? Whether they're right or wrong, can you understand that?
I can understand that they're right. Yes, I can. But okay. By saying that, I can understand.
That's all I was saying. I wasn't saying let's ascribe truth or falseness to an assumption. I'm just saying, it does make sense, though, that people would view it a little differently based on how they look at it, their perspective.
Sure, but just because you have a perspective doesn't make you right. And I'm curious, why is that relevant, though? Like, why is that relevant to what I'm saying?
Well, it's just understanding different perspectives.
I think it's relevant to culture in general, and I think it's the base of a lot of conflict in America is that, people aren't thinking, oh, I can see why someone else might have a different opinion. Because here's the thing, you and I have a different opinion about this, but because of your explanation just now, I can see why you have the opinion that you do, and I don't fault you for it. I don't think you're wrong. I also don't think I'm wrong. But I mean, that's the thing about opinions. There's not a right opinion or a wrong opinion. Like, everybody can interpret things. Like, you don't work at WWE. You don't know if anyone sat, just like I don't know that they sat there and was like, hey, yeah, Saudi is awesome and all their things that they do are great. Let's support them by putting the show over there. I don't know that. That's an assumption on my part, the same as yours.
Well, we know the first show, they literally had a huge commercial about how great and progressive Saudi Arabia was. And it was like a straight up propaganda commercial. That was the part that got me when I was initially watching it. I was like, what is this? What is this show? It was like an infomercial for Saudi Arabia. And I was like, this is
that's at a point where Saudi Arabia was, for the first time in its history, beginning to open up parts of the country to tourism. And so that was what was behind that. And I don't think anybody was under any illusions, at least no informed person was under any illusions, though, now that Saudi Arabia is a paragon of human rights and this and that. Nobody's saying that, but you're missing the point of what I'm saying. And by the way, I have to disagree that nobody's opinion is wrong. I mean, if we're saying that no opinion is right or wrong, then you just said that. I mean, if you're saying that, then we're into intellectual agnosticism there. That it's just you have your opinion, I have mine, and we're just all equally right. I don't agree with that either.
My point is that my opinion is not wrong just because you say it is, and that's true.
Of course not. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying you're wrong. But no, man, I just I couldn't get behind the Saudi Arabia thing. I think it was very obviously a ploy to legitimize them. It's the same as like, it's tough. Like when you talk about like leaders like Kim Jong-un in North Korea and that sort of thing, it's like meeting with him. It's like, I get it. It's like, does just the president meeting with him legitimize him? On one hand, I'm like, he should, like maybe talking it out with the guy. I don't know. But did it change anything? No. Has Saudi Arabia done anything else since, like to change anything? No. So it's tough until that revolution happens because somebody saw Goldberg versus Undertaker, then I just can't buy it. Like, I don't. Those people that are in that situation are exactly the last people that are ones that are probably going to be starting any sort of revolution from a taste of freedom. As far as we know, the citizens of Saudi Arabia didn't see crap. The actual people that were involved in there. This was strictly put on by this crown prince of Saudi Arabia. And so I don't buy that it meant anything necessarily to the people. It meant that the WWE made $50 million off a show. And they obviously don't think that it was completely okay because they completely shut up about it and they just stopped talking about it, period. And in fact, like tried to hide even saying the name Crown Jewel for forever.
Well, they wouldn't say Saudi Arabia. They very obviously.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was Saudi Arabia.
Saying Saudi Arabia, and they just started calling it Crown Jewel.
And so I don't even think they felt entirely great about it. But whatever. I can't imagine where else they'd go to that it would just be like, okay, well, at least we got out of there alive when they're holding up the plane because of a money disagreement. It's like, that's a whole different level, man. And it doesn't matter if it's not just Vince McMahon. If that dude's all rich billionaire and wants to play games with the prince and just like throw money at each other back and forth, and fine, whatever. But you're also toying with entire crews of people and your talent and everyone else involved in that sort of thing. That's not people you just play games with and put them at risk if that's what's going on. It's just, I just don't like it. But that's me. That's my opinion.
And you're right, I guess. We're all right.
No, it's not right or wrong, Rob.
It's right. It's not right or wrong.
No one's right or wrong. We're all just floating around. We're all just existing in this world like orbs of atoms. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well,
I've had enough beer tonight.
In international,
I haven't had any beer, and that's the problem.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to rub it in.
I was going to say, man, I had this great loaded baked potato for dinner too, but it's like, I'm not going to say it because I know Gary's over there starving.
I had a big bowl of spaghetti. My wife
melted cheese and bacon. Boy, it was good, man.
I'm over here.
The spaghetti my wife made was like the perfect ratio of sauce to meat. You know what I'm saying? The meat sauce. It's hard to get, but my wife made it.
God,
was it good?
Can we talk about? Is the chat room have anything else to talk about besides Saudi Arabia and spaghetti?
Okay, so they did. I just looked. I was like, did they just totally tune out because we were ranting about Saudi Arabia, which is not even relevant. Like right now, why were we even talking about that?
Oh, I don't know, but we were. But no, the chat room was also included there. I can read through the comments if we want. I guess that we include
I think we can move on from Saudi Arabia. What else? Let's talk about UWN.
Jason Havlick says it all goes back to Hamilton. So,
there we go.
So there's at least that. All of this is really Hamilton when you think about it.
Dr. Red Tyler had lasagna tonight. That's awesome.
Okay.
I had spaghetti. You had lasagna. We're like Italian brothers tonight. I love it.
This is terrible. I hope everybody watching this has enjoyed this moment in time. So let's talk about Mickie James. We can all agree that it's great to have her back. What were you going to say, Will?
Well, we did get some insights. There was some chatter on the Discord. Dave Marquez not giving out a ton of information about United Wrestling Network Primetime Live. But he did say that Tim Storm and Nick Aldis, not in a match, but that they are both 100% confirmed to be on the show. Nick Aldis, and I think he mentioned this to us, but he is kind of in a producer role, which is exciting for that show because we love Nick Aldis, obviously, and I think he's not going to steer us wrong from a creative standpoint and a production standpoint. So makes me a little more excited and bought in for that on September 15th. But I don't know, anything else come out about that show that you guys heard?
I'm glad you brought that up because I completely forgot to mention this on the news portion for the podcast. So this is an exclusive for you guys. Not really. It's not an exclusive. You can go to the Championship Wrestling podcast and listen to a quick interview with David Marquez in there. But a couple of things I did pick up on that he said, as I recall, he talked a lot about more what they're thinking. He said that it's going to be very NWA heavy. Like they're featuring the NWA people. And in that interview, he confirmed, which is a little different than what we heard earlier. He confirmed Eli Drake also. I'm still not hearing James Storm, which is weird because you feel like if you mention Eli Drake, you'd also mention James Storm, which is a little weird. But he said the idea is actually his exact like literal example. He was talking about that this is going to be very flexible with anybody who's available and they can work out an agreement for. So they have like his exact example was if Zack Ryder is available on a date we're going live and he accepts the deal, then Zack Ryder's going to be on the show. You know, he's just like, we're going to work with anybody that's willing to come on and work something out. He also described they're in an actual studio with Thunder Studios next to other legitimate studios. He's like, it's like being on a Hollywood movie lot. Like there's commercials being shot. He's like, Ariana Grande was shooting a music video. He's like, so you never know who will be able to work out showing up on the show. So I thought that was kind of interesting too. But he did mention it was going to be very NWA heavy. So I guess we shall see.
Oh, did you just mute Will?
Yeah, I was done with him. I was done with him actually agreeing with me. I just wanted to go one-on-one with Stinson. No, I'm just kidding.
You don't want this,
man. No, I don't. No, Will.
Saudi. No, I'm kidding.
Will had to go to the bathroom. He told us in our private messages.
Oh, shoot, I missed
that. Wrestling with the MMA says Nick Aldis needs to cherish the limited time he has left with Sweet Charlotte. Just saying. I don't know who you think is going to take him on right now, though. But you could be right. Jason Havlick, you said something earlier about you said you drank too much wine again. I wish I had a glass of wine. I wish I had a sandwich.
It's cheat night, man. Go get you one.
Nah, cheat night's going to be this. Listen, dude. I gotta get it under control, man. Not everybody's like slim and trim, buff dude like you over there. We can't all be looking good all the time. Oh, if I'm gonna have the money maker on screen broadcast to the world twice a week, I gotta keep myself looking fresh. But Jason Havlick, you did say answer my question, and I won't ask about something again up there. I don't know if that was something for us, but I didn't see a question. Let's see here. WWE Front Row, do you have Aldis? Yes, we have our champ, Nick Aldis and Tim Storm coming up on the Nation show in coming weeks, hoping to get Thunder Rosa as well. Good luck with Thunder Rosa. I know she's a very busy lady, so I can understand she's tough to get a hold of. But Nick Aldis and Tim Storm, that would be awesome. It's going to be good to see those guys back. And since Tim Storm's not as social media savvy, it's going to be nice to have him back on TV again. Brian Cervantes, if I could say something, I was very disappointed today to find out that Title Match Network is not like on a Roku channel or something. I was kind of bummed about that. I just want to express that. I mean, I'll sit up here and watch it. I even thought like maybe I should tell Will we should just do like a Wrestling Days live watch, like a watch along with it or something. But anyway, it's just a bummer. I like having stuff being able to just pull up a channel on Roku and click the button. But, you know, first world problems.
Yeah. But incidentally, I just on Bearded Trio 2/3 birthday, my wife got me a Roku TV. I told you to expect. Normally, I mean, my wife's a good gift getter, but it's normally like, hey, I got you this new NWA T-shirt. Then the truck pulls up and it's this big Roku TV. So I had no clue about Roku until then, man. So I'm like, gosh, what is this Roku you speak of? It is amazing.
Oh, dude, I love the Roku now. I have upgraded. We got it back starting with the 2, and now they're on 4, like as far as the devices. And of course, now, like you said, they're all in TVs. But my God, these things are amazing. I've upgraded all the way up to the 4, and it's in 4K, and I don't even have a 4K TV right now. So, but Google too, they have like channels that aren't even listed in the regular channels, just ridiculous stuff. There's a lot of like just wild channels on that thing you can find if you just start looking around.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Like we could literally, like if we wanted to, I don't know how exactly, but we could look into it. Like we could have a Roku channel just for This Is the NWA podcast. Like
I'm literally watching Crown Jewel television right now over here.
I believe that.
Hey, they look free to me.
Yeah.
The TV don't lie, bro. The TV don't lie. You can't.
And it never has. It never has lied. If there's one thing you can trust, it is the media, television, media companies. That's the only thing you can trust around here, man.
Thank you, Will. Thank you.
Man, I keep reaching over here for my dang IPA and it doesn't exist. So
we should start a show. We should start a segment or a show on this channel where we introduce Rob to various pieces of modern technology and get his like reaction. So I could just imagine. I'm just imagining when you like first fired up that Roku and you were like, "What?" And you were like going through all the channels and you're like,
"I know." Like it's like they have their own universe of channels. Like we were trying to watch. I have one of my favorite movies is Dead Poet Society. We were trying to find it the other night on. We've got everything that you can subscribe to. We have it, man. Amazon Prime, Hulu, Netflix, whatever. We got it, you know. And we couldn't find that one. That wasn't on any of them. And so I just happened to be strolling through, just as one of those things where it just happens to happen. Happened to be strolling through, and it was like, oh, Roku free TV airing now, Dead Poet Society.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, Captain, my Captain. What? It's crazy, man.
I love that movie, man, and I saw that on there as well. And it's like, yeah, dude, just free TV, man.
Yeah.
Right there on your TV. It's crazy. I mean, I've got, we got all the stuff for the kids on there. We got all the movie channels and stuff like that, and I mean, that's how I watch the Braves, man. I got Fox Sports Go because we don't have cable. So I subscribe to that, watch the Braves, and it's crazy, man.
The Braves are down 6-5 in the bottom of the 7th. We got a runner on first, 1 out, and Adam Duvall just boom, he's safe. Runners on first and second, both safe with 1 out. So,
welcome to the Braves watch along. Hey, I was watching Impact Wrestling a little bit. I know Joe was bringing it up in the chat. I had it pulled up on my phone, and it looks interesting, man. I might have to go back and watch tonight's show on replay and check it out. You ever watch Impact, Rob?
I do. Yes. I do. I mean, obviously, I don't. Time is. You only have so many hours in the day, so you have to be judicious about how you spend your time. I read every day for a couple hours. I do some kind of NW related stuff. Whether it's watching, reading the articles that we send to each other. But I try to spend NWA time, and then I have a soft spot for Ring of Honor and Impact, just because I feel like they're cousins of the NWA. They're family, even if they're separated by different governing bodies and whatnot. So I do that just about. I'm not going to say I watch Impact or Ring of Honor every day, but I watch it weekly. Watch something related to Impact or Ring of Honor every week, and. But the Braves, during baseball season, I do watch every Braves game. If we're live and the Braves are on, I'm watching it, here to the side. So
it's time consuming, man. That's a lot of baseball. Not obviously not as much this season as normal seasons, but
yeah,
it's a big commitment.
We're halfway through the season, man. We're at the midway point, but it's like I think I get my hours of sleep in, but I'm real efficient about my sleep. So like the military part of me. I put my head down, I'm out instantly, and I'll sleep for a solid 3 hours, like good sleep. I'll wake up at 1 a.m. but wide awake, and then piddle around, then catch another hour or two right before I got to get up, and I never really feel that tired. But I'm always like, redeem the time. I'm not going to just sit here and just waste time. So I'm always feel like, I'm always doing something. But
Gonna jump into the chat here and see what our folks are talking to us about. Let's see here. Let's go back up a little bit here.
They're talking about guilty pleasure themes.
Well, I saw that, but I was going to get there because I wanted to mention Little Rage Media here had a question for the three of us. Thoughts on Nick Aldis versus Okada?
I mean, yes, please.
Yeah, I would take that easily. Rob, are you going to disagree just for the hell of it?
No, I agree. I mean, I think that wow.
I'm sorry. I keep screwing with you, Rob.
It's like we agree 90% of the time. And then
I just like playing with you, man.
Y'all laying it on today, man. Y'all like Stinson salty. I'm like, now y'all are salty. I came in like happy, man. Just have my.
I'm hangry, dog.
I had to have me an ice cream sandwich. Had me a baked potato. All I said was, hey, man. Saudi Arabia got to see a match. You're like, oh gosh, we've lost Stinson. He's been radicalized.
Nobody said that.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly. That's exactly.
You just.
It's like when I said,
you just aren't going to be flying to Texas. It looks like. Better gas up.
Yeah.
I think our channel's been taken down.
Really?
Just kidding. No.
I was like, really? I believe it.
Getting FBI calls. No, I think I've always said that New Japan has a legitimate world championship, and the WWE do as well, and so we AEW, and I think that the NWA is a meta promotion. I think that the title that Aldis holds is the one title to rule them all. So he presides as the champion over all of those organizations, whether they recognize it or not. If they don't recognize it, that's irrelevant to me. It's the lineal championship that goes back to the true world championship held by Hackenschmidt and Gotch, and everything else. They have a world title claim for sure because they are world class contenders. But Aldis's belt is the one that matters most, and I would love to see him wrestle any of those guys.
Nice. Yeah, so we're all open to all of that.
In every country in the world.
Almost.
All of them, including
almost every country.
I'm talking about Germany, doggone United States, Alabama, all of them.
And Will, I apologize, man. I won't apologize to Stinson, but I'll apologize to you that I actually skipped over. You were right. The
every promotion has to have a top heel, Rob, and you just happen to be ours. That's
Robbie Roode.
I don't believe in heels though, bro.
Dr. Roode.
Most heels don't.
Obviously not with your overwhelming support of the Saudi regime.
There you go. Look, the fact that I overwhelmingly support the Saudis has nothing to do with them.
All right. So no, it was the entrance theme, the guilty pleasure wrestling theme was the first question. It was right before Okada, apparently, front row repeating, or no, wrestling with the MMA, hooking us up with that one. So do you have a guilty pleasure wrestling theme song? I don't have a guilty pleasure wrestling theme song.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's my thing too. It's not guilty. It's just pleasure. I like I mean, a lot of my favorites are old school WCW themes, man. I loved like the Steiner Brothers, obviously as a huge Steiner fan. Big Van Vader. Always remember that one. Rick Rude. Come on. Remember that theme?
Well, what are you talking about? Like, see, because front row, you can appreciate this. I'll give WWE all the props in the world. What is that guy's name? The guy who did all their themes back in the day?
Jimmy Hart?
Well, he did do some, yes. Looking at
Who did WWE themes?
Yeah.
Jim Johnstone.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
His name escaped me for a second, but that dude, man, I felt like he killed it. Man, he
wrote some
great
bangers,
stuff.
man. He wrote some bangers for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but Bret Hart was the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be in a lot of things, even his entrance music, I think. That one, but Rick Rude's in WWF was really cool too. You always just knew what was going down when that porno music hit. And, but Rob, do you have a favorite entrance theme or guilty pleasure entrance theme?
Again, I don't have guilty pleasures because I'm not embarrassed by wrestling. I mean, I like I've always liked Bad Street USA. I mean, I've always liked that. I mean, that's one of my favorites. I don't think there's anything embarrassing about that. I liked Coco Beware's The Bird. Remember that? Hey, America, have you heard? There's a new dance called The Bird. I always like that one, but I'm not embarrassed by it. So,
what a rush!
No, I never liked that one, man. I didn't like it. Because for me, the Road Warriors were Iron Man.
Iron Man, yeah.
So, to me,
but for me, I didn't know those Road Warriors really well. So Legion of Doom was like some of my first exposure to those guys.
Yeah.
Sting was always a favorite of mine, man. Just
see, and he seems like one of the only ones. Like he and Flair have themes that like really stand out in my head. But I'm like trying to think of like other theme songs from WCW guys, like especially like, I mean, obviously like Bad Street, like Rob mentioned. I can't remember like
the Rock and Roll Express would come to the music with Rock and Roll is King,
Yeah.
And that was, and they actually, a lot of people talk about, they don't like the fact that in the studio, they don't play theme music, but they do when Rock and Roll Express comes out. They would play theirs when they would come out in the studio back in the Turner days or in the 80s and all that, they'd come out to that, just playing on whatever boombox they had. And, so they
there was the Steinerized song. Yeah. Jason Havlik mentioned that. Yeah.
That's
okay.
One of my faves.
But you're right. Yeah. Rock and Roll Express did have that music. See, I remember a lot of the WWF themes, but I'm trying to remember like some WCW ones. Obviously, like when you get into the 90s, you got Hogan with Voodoo Child and the NWA music or NWO music. I mean, and
then the Horseman music too. That would play.
Yeah, that was a good one. Wow, Jason Havlik says my favorite Bret Hart theme was this WCW theme. That is a take. Interesting.
I always remember, and I haven't looked really hard, but there's been a couple times where I've looked and I couldn't find the exact one. But I just remember as a kid loving Jushin Thunder Liger's WCW entrance music. And I just haven't, maybe it's one of those things that it's like you remember it way better than it is now when you hear it. But like, I tried to Google it and YouTube it and all that and try to find and jog my memory, and I couldn't. But that was just one that always stuck in my head. I remember being a kid, Jushin Thunder Liger, WCW, like I would pop for that theme.
Oh man, yeah. Gorgeous. Speaking of real, true, original Freebirds, gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. Jimmy Jam Garvin, man, his when
does he count?
Man, I'm sick. Look, all right. He would come out to Sharp Dressed Man. Precious would come out, spraying the aerosol, spraying the crowd down, and that was iconic, man. It was good.
No, I don't get why more people don't invest in like those kind of themes. Like, were they doing it on TV too, like WCW?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
See,
yeah, that theme music.
I'm trying to remember. Good. I mean, I know they did like Voodoo Child and stuff like that with Hogan. They were obviously having to pay rights fees, and like Vince was avoiding that, which it's hard to argue with him because they had some, like you said, some bangers. They had some like songs I still hear in my head to this day. I had a cassette. I was like in a WWF fan club and had like a cassette of entrance music I would just like listen to.
I had a cassette that I would record off the TV. I would put my boom box right up beside the speaker, and I would try to get stings because I thought that was my jam. I'd try to record as much, and you'd have Shivani and JR talking over it and stuff like that. But it was crazy, man. Those really
Iron Sheik had a timeless entrance music.
Yeah.
He just won't stop.
He won't. $1 Million Man's theme.
Oh yeah,
that was fun. Everybody's kind
Big
of
Boss Man.
Yeah. Every ever damn get each other. That one.
What did it say?
Sounded just like.
I think you're from Georgia too, Rob. I think you understood what I said.
You should understand that. Yeah.
Let's see. You guys throw some more in the chat. We can think on that. Front Row loves Roku TVs, no wires. I thought that Roku TV. I have a smart TV in this room that I'm in right now, but I've had it for like 4 or 5 years. It is not nearly as cool as my Roku, so I just never thought about the Roku TV because I assumed they would just be like this one. But when I was on the boat the other weekend, there was a Roku TV on there, and it was exactly like my Roku. And
so when you speak about your Roku, you're talking about a device that's not the TV.
Yeah, it started out as like a little box that you plug in. And
that's what we have. We have 2 of those. We don't actually have like a Roku TV. We just have like it's like literally like a $35 like thing you plug into your USB.
Like an Apple TV.
Yeah, like an Apple TV, like the Amazon Fire, like that kind of stuff.
But I mean, we've had ours for years, and they're not the latest and greatest ones, but they don't struggle. Like we get everything we want on there. So,
man, I got my new Bluetooth earpiece, man. I had them here thinking I was cool, and then my guy was like, "Dude, why's that webcam on your ear?" I was like, "What? I wonder."
Webcam.
I couldn't hear anything, man.
I'm still self-conscious because they were making fun of my headphones.
I'm sorry, Rob was making fun of your headphones. I was not. Rob the heel was making fun of your headphones.
I wasn't making fun of. I was making fun with.
Yeah, he's wondering how we got off on the wrong foot. Dr. Red Tyler wants to see more Aaron Stevens. I think he's hilarious. Well, he's apparently going to have a big part of that deal with United Wrestling Network. So you're going to get more Aaron Stevens, it sounds like. Plus, he's the national champion. He's got to be out there at some point. Doc Stinson's Gadget Corner from Andrew McKinney. That's what we should have. I agree with that.
I'm here for that. I am here for that.
Dave Scooby says Rob even likes the scrambled channels. This is all older stuff, but are there scrambled channels anymore? Kids will never know the struggle.
Rob pays to unscramble them. You heard him. He's got subscriptions to everything.
Yeah. Scooby, you mentioned the scramble channels. That must mean you know. Because only someone who knows would know about the scramble channels. But hey, yep.
I was about to say, who's going to deny?
Yeah. You had a meme about it the other day, I think.
Hey, Rob, have you read, James Lawrence is asking if, has anybody read the book Fall Guys, written back in the 30s that exposed the wrestling business? I just started it earlier this evening, and it's really good so far. I have wanted to read that book, and I literally heard an interview the other day where somebody was talking about it. What's that?
I said, this just came up the other day.
Yeah, I feel like I was listening to something where it came up. But it's out of print, I believe, right? I'm looking it up right now.
Rob's trying to find it on his Roku.
Fall Guys, the Barnums of Bounce. Oh no, you can get it on Kindle for $4.99. But
Rob, you know a Kindle?
If you want to buy the physical copy, it's going to cost you.
Rob, have you ever had a Kindle? Like you held one and looked at it?
Man, I just can't get into them, man. I like the feel of the pages. I like to write notes in the
bar. No, okay. I get that. I get that too. You never experienced one. We were gonna do our first video where I was gonna send you one and let you like review it.
Have you actually held one and used it?
My wife has a Kindle.
Okay, so, I was about to say, because see, I've been telling my wife, I finally bought one because I got too many books. I have too many, so I finally bought a Kindle when they were cheap, like on Prime Day or something one day, and I bought like the Paperwhite, and I dig it, man. I've been reading out of it. Like I brought Pro Wrestling FAQ on there and the physical copy, but Like I have it on the Kindle, and I don't know, it's nice. And just literally, like, I was telling my wife about it. I was like, you should get that. And she's like, no, I like books. I like the feel of books, the smell of books. But then, like, earlier this week, she walked in the room where my Kindle was, and she picked it up, and she was like looking at it because I was reading something in it. And she was like, hey, this is kind of cool. Like, maybe I would want one of these. And so she was like,
here's my take on it. It is really cool. And I have one. I actually have several because I kept getting the new ones when they would come out.
Can't hide money.
Well, I got them like you did when they were like $30. But like it is really cool, and it just depends on the book. Like I would never read Pro Wrestling FAQ on. I mean, I would read it out of convenience, but I would have to have a physical copy as well. And I like when I'm reading a book, I like to know like my progress, and I know it tells you at the bottom, like, but I'm not a numbers guy. Like when it's like you're 30% done, I don't know what that means. Like I have no reference. So I like to be able to like hold the book and know like how far in I'm and how much more I got. It's a different feel. And that's, you know, I am all for technology on almost everything else. But for me, when I'm wanting to enjoy a book and it's not just a convenience thing, like I like my Kindle if like I'm at the beach or something and I want to like, I don't want to carry a book around or something like that, or I want to have multiple books at the same time or something like that. But, you know, and you can get Kindle books from the library. I don't know if you guys know that. You can check out through an app. You can actually rent Kindle books, which is kind of cool, which is really what I do because I don't want to
do that with movies too. There's like that app for movies. I can't think of the name of it right off the top of my head, but you can check out movies like on Roku.
You do that on everything?
Yeah, you could do it. Like if you have a local library membership, you can sign up somehow online, and then like on Roku on the channel, like you can check out movies basically using your library because you have a library card. I haven't tried it yet personally because I didn't take some books back for a while, and so I think I have like an $80 bill I have to pay at the library.
Gary is wanted.
That's why our channel.
You go into the library, there's like wanted posters with Gary's face on it.
I feel like I could, if I had to adapt to a Kindle, I could. You know, if it was like, hey, you don't have space anymore, you got to get rid of your books, put them all on Kindle. I could do that if I had to, but I'm with Will, man. I like to see my progress of a book. I like the smell of a book. I treat my books like sparring partners. You know, I have like ongoing arguments in the margins in pen, and I like to go back and look at them. Now I will, if I gift a lot of books too. I think I've given Gary some books, and Will, you'll certainly get some here, you know, at some point in our relationship. No,
not if I keep having wrong opinions. I won't.
Yes, man, I really do. So I like to send things out, and if especially if there's a book that's important to me, you know, I might buy multiple copies of it. I have this one book called it's
Rob. I thought we were losing him.
Oh my God.
It looked like he was like actually like passing out.
A lot of every time I buy it's an E.D. Hirsch book, and it's that's not going to mean anything to anybody outside of public education circles. But anytime we have a new teacher, I like to buy a copy of this and gift it to them, you know, because I think it's just a great little synopsis of you know what we're doing in public education and everything. But I love the charm of a book, you know, of holding in my hand and the pages and going back to my notes. Like I know Front Row can appreciate, you know, you go to your Bible and you got all your marginal notes in there, you know, exactly. Like if you handed me just any Bible, I might not be able to find a passage, but if you hand me mine, boy, I can get you right there like that, you know, I can take you exactly where I'm trying to get to, you know. So, but if I had to adapt to it, I'm not really that tech unsavvy like we led on here. You know, I really use as much technology I think any of these mind games, you know. But
Rob just took a Google course. Like he just learned all of Google.
Certified, man.
He knows Google.
Trainer. I'm a Google trainer, man.
I'm an SEO specialist. You should clue me in.
Front Row says Rob just bought a tablet, but it's made of stone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thanks, Wrestling with the MMA. Speaking of stone, no, I don't have a good segue for that.
Speaking of rocks, I don't know.
Speaking of rocks, you got to make sure yours are smooth as possible. That's why you got to go to manscaped.com. Offer code NWA pod gets you 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com.
And let me warn you.
Here we go.
If you're using the 2.0, make sure you don't have any goosebumps down there when you're, because you won't afterwards.
Oh my God! You think with all that Saudi money, you could afford a 3? The Brood theme rocked.
Yeah, dude.
Thunder's husband keeps asking about Bastion Booger crap with me, and it's getting offensive, sir. How is Bastion Booger's theme music? Did Bastion Booger have theme music? I don't even remember. Shinsuke Nakamura's NJPW theme, also his WWE theme, pretty sick.
Gosh, man, his intro. How do we forget about that? His intros are money, man. He's like,
especially the ones with the violin guy was like playing and stuff.
So good, man. It gave me chills. It was almost like, I'm not gonna go. Anyway, it was good. It's almost like he was like appearing for the first time to a very deprived people in a
God.
Oh my God.
And they got to see it for the first time for real. And I'm like, man, Shinsuke's good. Everything he does is good. I know some people, he's very controversial and some people don't feel him. I don't know why that guy's not one of the biggest in the world right now, man.
Well, and that's the thing. To your point earlier, he was in NXT.
Yeah, right.
NXT did him right. And we naively thought that was going to carry over, and it did not. But I mean, his NXT run was damn near perfect.
Yeah. Front row mentioning when Nita Strauss played Nakamura out at Mania. Yeah, that was really, really cool. Saw her live recently because I went and saw Alice Cooper play.
Oh, Jericho's entrance where he had the choir out there.
Not Alice Cooper. Nita was hot. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Judas.
No. When he did Judas with the choir accompanied.
Oh yeah.
That was good too, man. That was. Did you guys see the one where maybe that was the same one where they took him through all of his stages of development?
Yeah. That was at one of the pay-per-views. Yeah.
That was pretty good too, man. It's like. I'm all for
Doc
that.
Stinson's already exposed Gadget Corner by talking about how tech savvy he is. It's ruined.
Or am I?
He loves to ruin.
Is that not just a swerve? That might just be a swerve, guys.
To the Kindle thing, by the way, I just want to be clear that I still enjoy books. I've got a shelf right here to my left that is just stacked to the brim. It's just I don't have a place to put. I have more books than I have space.
It's stacked with Funko Pops.
Well, there are Funko Pops also on the shelf, but they're small. They can the books don't go all the way to the end, so the Funkos sit there. I have like a bunch of H.P. Lovecraft right over here, and then I have this sitting in that section, which is Cthulhu.
That's scary looking. He's like kind of transparent.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. But I also have him on my arm as well. But anyway. And you want to talk about canceled? That dude was real racist. So I am, maybe not the smartest move, but I did it. What about? Oh, it was just burp and fart noises for Bastion Booger. So thanks. What I was going to say about the Kindle is one benefit of it is like when I went on that little mini trip this past weekend or the other weekend, it's nice that you just have it to worry about. You don't have to take the book or anything or multiple books. You have access to like a library of books, like still just right there. If
obviously
you change
they sell it in different sizes. So like how many books can you get stack on your Kindle? Can you stack your whole library on there?
Oh geez, dude. Yeah, you can. I think it's like
you download them. You have your library, which is on like the cloud. Rob, do you know what the cloud is? You ever been to the cloud, Rob?
Man, I fly all the time, bro. I fly.
Okay. So all your books are basically in the cloud, and you just download whichever one you want to read, and you can delete it off your Kindle and keep it in the cloud and download another one. So Yeah, they're up there. Do you see Gary's books?
That's ridiculous.
You see Gary's books up there?
Right up there, like I'm Sabu right now.
That's ridiculous.
I also collect these books. Here, I'll show you.
Oh boy, we get a tour.
These guys?
Yeah. I've got a few of those.
Oh yeah, Lord of the Star Wars.
Well, see, the Funkos are there, but yeah, I love those books. I don't know why. I just like the way they look.
Why are your Funkos so much smaller than Front Row's?
Yeah, front row orders life-size Funkos. I had to stop with Funkos because I was getting carried away.
Yeah, they're addictive.
You saw all those. I was like, I'll just get a few Star Wars. I'll just get a few from like shows I like Supernatural's up there, and I got some WWE ones. And but then the problem is like I'm a real I get like into that completist mentality, and you can't with Funkos unless you're just gonna spend all of your money on Funkos.
What's your favorite one, Gary? You've had to pick one. What's your favorite?
My favorite Funko?
He's got it right there.
Man, I don't know. I have a Michael Myers that I got just by accident, but his mask glows in the dark, and that was one of the rare ones, or the variant version.
I have a star nose at bat.
Yeah.
Well, you know what that means.
What?
About to be a 3-run homer right here.
Oh, you're talking about baseball.
Yeah, sorry.
You just switched.
He lost interest. Go ask me a question.
No, man. Listen, I can multitask. Go ahead. What are you saying? You said something about H.P. Lovecraft?
Anyway, I'm just saying that one goes for like $300 on eBay right now.
Really?
So,
I'd have to say, I have
still in the box, but
I have mostly
body rubles.
I have mostly just wrestling ones. I have a few non-wrestling ones. I have Kurt Cobain, which is a favorite. I have Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life. I have Doug Funny. And I think those are all the non-wrestling ones I have. But my favorite one is my 1990 Sting with the neon face paint. It was a double pack with him and Lex Luger, and that's probably my favorite one.
That's cool. Yeah, I was trying to keep up with the wrestling for a little bit there. I even went out of my way to I don't have any special connection, but I have Brock Lesnar here, but he was an exclusive.
You take them out of the boxes.
Yeah, I finally got to the point where I was like, well, here's the thing. I have a whole top shelf in my closet over there that is just a ton of them in the box because I was a member of Marvel's Collector Corps, and somebody gave me a subscription to that Star Wars one. So I have these exclusives to those still in the box up there that I want to sell because I was telling myself I'm never going to sell these anyway. And so I took them out of the box. I got to finally where I wrapped it up to just the horror ones. I have a bunch of horror ones over on one shelf. Those are the only ones I'll still be willing to buy. But I could get rid of the other ones if anybody wants them.
Sorry, I've got
I'm just laughing because in the chat, Front Row, he just said, I don't know if you see where he retracted the message.
Yeah.
And then he said, I have Chris Hardwick. Before, I think he hit enter too early and it just said, I have a Christ.
Ooh.
And I was like, whoa, you win. That's the best one.
that Jesus Funko is awesome. How is there not a Jesus Funko?
I'm sure there is. How's there not? There's got to
be.
Rob, did you go outside? What are you doing?
Well, I had to come over here because my Roku was about to cut off, so I had to reset it. Now I'm locked in on the screen. If I move during this at bat, I'm going to jinx them. So I got to stand here for 1 second. Keep talking though.
I just keep seeing big gold kind of pop in a little bit.
Oh, hold on. Let me just say we're just amongst friends right now, right? This ain't being recorded.
Nowhere.
I'm take my back. I'm just going to do this. None. Boom. Here we go.
There it is.
All right. So I'm right here with my new Roku here in the studios of This is the NWA Podcast Piper's
That
Notes.
sound better be down or we're going to get canceled.
This is the NWA.
Down, bro. I muted during this, but there's You see Travis Darno's about to homer right here. I done did the algorithm. Guaranteed. Watch this. He's calling for an inside fastball. Y'all can keep talking, man. You don't have to listen to me. I'm just
watching the stream to see when we get cut off.
Yeah.
When the YouTube cops come for us.
Yeah. Braves Live right here.
Right. But this is my wall of signed PWIs. I've got Harley there, Flair. I've got Dusty. I've got
Steamboat.
We got Sting down there. We got Nikita. Then I've got, that's the Horseman signed right there. All 4 of the originals. All these are Nick Aldis signed prints. This is the studio of, let me see if we can do this. There's my bar right there. And here's my, I've got this spot's reserved for my new 10 pounds that's supposed to have been here like 2 weeks ago. But so, I don't have
beautiful chat room, by the way, also pointed out that we are officially at 420 on subscribers. So you know what we said we'd do, guys.
Bro.
What are we doing? Streaking?
Time to light it up, Rob.
Man, Travis, dang, you suck, dude. He sucks.
If you don't light my fire, don't come around. 'Cause I'm gonna burn one down.
What were you saying at,
Hey, Andrew McKinney, I wonder exactly what Vince McMahon really thinks when huge wrestling stars fail in the WWE system. Do you think there's any self-reflection, or does he just keep plowing? Linda. No, I added the Linda part. I think that Vince McMahon, legitimately what I think Vince McMahon thinks is that he sits there and says, I knew they weren't shit. Like, I feel like he looks at it as proof that they were never really stars to begin with if they fail in the WWE.
Little Rage Media pointing out asking about the Midnight Express going into the WWE Hall of Fame. That's someone who had iconic theme music too that we built.
Also, why are they not in the Hall of Fame? Are they not in the Hall of Fame? I know the Rock and Roll Express just went in not too long ago.
They most absolutely should be. If you want to have a credible Hall of Fame, they've got to be in it. So,
dude, they
I stopped using the WWE Hall of Fame as a measuring stick for greatness a long time ago. I'll just say that. It's a political thing.
Bull crap. But it is, yeah. I mean, because Rob's favorite wrestler, Coco Beware's in there.
What are you saying, man?
Now I'll clarify. What I just said does not diminish, the people that are in there that deserve to be in a wrestling Hall of Fame. I mean, there are many Hall of Fame worthy people. I mean that I stopped using it as a measuring stick of saying, oh, the people that aren't in there yet aren't worthy, because there's a lot of people that should be in there that aren't.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, my God, the Midnight Express. I mean, they are the best. I'm start more and more coming around that they are the greatest tag team that ever existed.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a measuring stick, but I think everybody who's been inducted probably, at least most everybody who's been inducted, is probably thankful that they were, and appreciates that it's at least some gesture of respect for their career. But you're right. I mean, there are people in there that are mystifying. Like, I don't understand why. And this is no shade on Coco Beware at all, because he did some phenomenal things for the sport. But is he really a Hall of Famer? You know what I mean? And there are others. You got like Mike Tyson in there, and some other people. Like, come on, guys. What business in a wrestling Hall of Fame? So, and it seems to me too, Will, that maybe in the early days it was a lot more of a gimmick, and now it might be at least that there might be some attempt to make it a little more credible.
Yeah.
than it was in, in those formative days. But I don't know. I mean, we actually got to attend the Hall of Fame ceremony in Brooklyn a couple years ago. That was Piper's first WWE event. And we got to see like Bret Hart get attacked, that when that happened.
Wow, you were there
that night.
Nice.
Yeah, we were very close too. I've got video of it on my phone. Didn't expect it happening at all, man. It was crazy. And we were like, the whole night we were sitting there thinking, man, that was a work. That had to have been a work. And come to find out it wasn't, man. It was like, that really happened.
Yeah, they asked FTR about that on Jericho's. No, was it Cornette's podcast when they're guesting on there? Because was it Dax gave that guy a little shot in the face?
Were on it, man. They were like that whole front row was on that dude. He got his tail beat. What?
You don't want to run in a room full of professional wrestlers like that. That was
honoring Bret Hart of all people. I mean, it's like. But we were there that night, man, and it was that was the second to last time we'd been to New York since the world changed, But it was cool, man. But it seemed to me like that event was like it was a banquet style event. It was really very. There was a lot of aside from that incident, it was like there was a certain gravity about the evening. It didn't feel like a wrestling event. It felt like you're at a black tie, formal event. It was. Everybody was respectful, and it was neat, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody's really respectful. They do seem to go on a long time. Did Piper and stuff get antsy at all during that?
No, I mean Piper's very social, so I can see what you're saying. Like, for. They are lengthy events. I mean, we were there, I think, we were probably there in the Barclays Center for like 6 hours, a good 2 hours before it started, just because we didn't make sure we were able to get in and get food and drinks and that kind of stuff. And then the event itself was over 3 hours. And, but we enjoyed it. We had a good time, and we Piper travels real well, so we can have a fun time just about anywhere, and, I mean, you guys have met her, you know how she is.
Yeah, you showed me that cage and everything. I mean, it looks comfy, so I can see how she.
But it was she enjoyed it. She was like, is this so? This is like pay-per-view, and this is gonna be on a Blu-ray disc and all that. I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is the Hall of Fame induction we're watching, and so, she was taking it in and just kind of starstruck by everything. But those are the kinds of moments that like make her intrigued by the sport of wrestling. That's kind of what got me into it too. I remember going to see just the little events with my dad growing up, and seeing it on TV is one thing, but actually being there and seeing somebody that I saw on television and now I'm a part of it. Those are the kinds of things that kind of suck her into the world of pro wrestling. So, it's cool. We enjoyed the event. I thought the WWE did a very good job of honoring the honorees that night. And Booker T, I remember his speech was fantastic. That's the one that kind of stands out to me. And then, of course, Hogan made an appearance that night. So, and that's the first time I've been to several Nitros. I've been to several WWF events. That's the first time I've ever seen Hogan live. So that was kind of cool for me,
Yeah, that's interesting. I see front row saying Hillbilly Jim's still doing his speech right now. David Ayers in the chat room. David, thanks for joining us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. He's asking what Midnight Express was the best.
It's a good question, man. That's a great question. Gosh, man. I mean, I would say my favorite, probably the most decorated, would be Beautiful Bobby and Sweet Stan. But Beautiful Bobby and Loverboy Dennis they were really good. They were right up there with them. I mean, it's hard to, I think that's a great question. Any of those two versions, and there are like two other versions too that a lot of people don't know about. But those two are when you think of Midnight Express, if they're going to induct a Midnight Express, you got to have Cornette in there. You got to have Beautiful Bobby. You got to have Loverboy Dennis. You got to have Sweet Stan. You might even make a case for Paulie Dangerously, being in that mix too, because he did manage a version of the Midnight Express for a while.
Oh,
so
that's a good point. Yeah.
I guess if you want to say the most decorated, they held the U.S. tag team titles. They had the World Tag Team titles multiple times. That would be Stan Lanham and Bobby Eaton. The only mark against them, and you can't really put it a mark against them because it was against the Road Warriors, but was they wrestled the Road Warriors for the title, and the Road Warriors beat them in like a minute and 19 seconds, just demolished them in one of the most one-sided beatdowns of a great tag team ever. So that would be the only skew against that version. But it's the Road Warriors, so it was their night.
See, we're used to that now. That was unheard of back then, but now, I mean, look, Kofi Kingston lost his title in 30 seconds. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, back then, I mean, that was unheard of.
It was like people were questioning. I remember, like, wait a second, they make the Midnight Express for nothing now. They should. How could this have happened? But it's a different world now, man. You're right. It's just attention spans are so short, and the tolerance for a good lengthy epic match is just not there generally.
Right. Dr. Red Tyler asking about the health of Bobby Eaton. Does anybody know? Rob, I don't know if you have any more news on that. I mean, I saw him at Crockett Cup. That was, I got to meet him there. Was grateful for that opportunity. And also, by the way, speaking of these midnights, it's cool to see that they travel a lot with Stan and Dennis and Bobby and Jim. Like they're all together on there, but I don't suppose you have any other news on that, Rob?
No, Paul Lee, a friend of mine who we mentioned on the show, the next week probably is friends with Beautiful Bobby, and they did something together a few weeks ago. And so I know there was that big scare for a while. I think even someone even falsely reported out on social media that he passed away. And of course that wasn't true. And that was quickly retracted, and people were quick to say, no, he's his health isn't good, but he's we're expecting him to make a comeback, or not a comeback, but a rebound health wise. And evidently he has. He seems to be doing okay right now, but his health is compromised. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So
I think it was his birthday this past week too, right?
Yeah.
Had a birthday. So happy birthday, Beautiful Bobby.
Heck yeah.
So that's where we dropped the ball, because we should have done a Beautiful Bobby tribute show tonight or something like that.
Oh man, we will. He's one of my top.
He's becoming like one of my favorite wrestlers ever, just from the stuff I've seen. That guy is amazing.
So you got to ask yourself then, like, who, not greatest tag teams ever, but who are the greatest tag team wrestlers, regardless of the tag team that they were a part of? And you got Beautiful Bobby's got to be in the top 5.
I was about to say, like, that Bobby Eaton's got to be, like, I mean, who else? Like just
Arn Anderson.
Arn is in there, of course. Tully is in there, but they were they mainly worked together. Arn worked with Ole for a while.
I think you would have to. I may get shot for this, but Edge. I would say Edge is in there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Edge has done it with him and Christian, obviously, but I mean, he had the tag team, so like I think he won the titles with Ray, and he rated RKO with Orton. He was even tag team champions with Hogan, I think, at one point. And so
and then you got to think, like, James Storm has been a multiple-time world tag team champion with multiple partners. And we think of James Storm since he's he's one half of the world tag team champions right now with another partner, mind you. But we think of him as primarily, I mean, I at least think of him primarily as a really good singles wrestler. But he is one of the most highly decorated tag team wrestlers of all time. James Storm is. He doesn't get enough credit for that.
That's a good conversation too. I mean, tag champions that were not traditional tag teams, some that stick out in your mind. I mean, it's happened a lot over the years, and I'm a tag team guy. I talk about it a lot, and I love the Steiner brothers and, obviously the Road Warriors and stuff like that. But, what are some ones that stick out in your mind? Some you just mentioned, but, people who held the titles that were two singles competitors.
I think of like Dusty and Nikita. I don't know if they held they might have held a title. I feel like they did, but they won the Crockett Cup one year and as the Superpowers. And then you think of like Sting and Luger. who did win titles. You know, and they're perennial singles wrestlers. So those are the two that immediately come to my mind.
I mean, I think you'd have to, let's see, who else? Gosh, I just had one in mind.
What about like Nikolai Volkov and Iron Sheik? You know, they had a kind of a legendary partnership there in the WWF in the 80s, even though both of them are primarily singles guys. And Iron Sheik, of course, is a former WWF world champion. So that's one that, thinking of singles guys that made it and carved out a niche for themselves in the tag team world.
Well, the champ is in the chat now, and he's worried about our wives.
Oh, well, Nick, we have wives. We go to 11. That's the deal. We do it every Tuesday night until you guys take our slot.
And to be fair, champ, we've talked more about your wife tonight than ours. So,
ooh, that is a good point. Yeah,
we have opinions. I'm sure he's got opinions too. We won't ask him about it.
We're just happy you were listening, buddy.
I'm hoping you didn't hear our Saudi Arabia discussion.
You're canceled, Stinson. You are canceled.
Whatever. Yeah, I'll change my opinion.
I don't know, man. There's
so now he'll change his opinion. Okay.
He heard. But I will say there are other people that have been known to talk about the NWA that have gone further off the deep end than you today. So we'll let that rest.
Got to change my background back now. The champ's in the chat.
Put your suit on.
At least you have not subscribed to QAnon yet, and I have seen that floating out there. So, I mean that I know of. Ric Flair's been surprisingly successful as a tag team wrestler, says Andrew McKinney.
Yeah, that's true.
Nick Aldis would like to remind us that he is a former IWGP, GHC, and TNA World Tag Team Champ. So I feel like that's fair enough.
Before, like, why haven't we mentioned that? Like British invasion stuff, man.
That's a good point.
It's true. I mean,
when you were talking about non-traditional, though, I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't throw in like Team Hell No, Kane and Daniel Bryan. That was a pretty successful one, surprisingly. Just for, but the reason I thought of them is because I went down a WWE rabbit hole in my head, because another person is Jericho, who has teamed with, it feels like 100 different people and had successful tag teams with them. But what else was I thinking of? I don't remember. I was trying to think of other like random tag teams, but anyway.
You had like in the 80s with like the war between Jimmy Valiant and Paul Jones's Army. That faction was really a collection of solo guys, with the exception of maybe the Barbarian and the Warlord. They seem to always be tagging together. But he would throw in like Baron von Raschke. He would throw in Manny Fernandez, who made his own name as a singles wrestler. And then Rick Rude and Manny Fernandez had a very decorated tag team for a long time. They were one of the hottest tag teams in the late 80s.
Randall G in the chat literally just said that, as you did.
Yeah, it was like right at the same time. That was incredible.
Exactly.
At least for us.
And there were others too, like Pistol Pez Watley would tag with Manny Fernandez from time to time. And whatever was going on there, man, those guys they were just owning the tag team scene. Paul Jones's Army was it, boy. And this is another thing, going back to what we've talked about before, about how even if the titles weren't in the discussion, how something that they were doing was really important. Like every time Jimmy Valiant went against one of those guys, like everybody was hooked on it. Even though Jimmy Valiant was, he was mid-card talent, even, everybody loved him. He was over like Rover, man. And he had this series of hair versus hair matches that everybody just gripped the country. But every now and again, Paul Jones would put out a tag team, and it just so happened that the Manny Fernandez, Rick Rude tag team was the one that was the most decorated, and they were really good, man. They were very talented.
Yeah, I'm seeing Mr. Fuji and Mr. Saito, Tony Gurria, Rick Martel, Chief Wahoo McDaniel, and Mark Youngblood. Well, these are, I mean, I feel like those were I don't know.
I just found a list of the most random tag team pairings, tag team champions.
Rock and Sock Connection, by the way. I just need to keep that off my chest.
So here's some. CM Punk and Kofi Kingston were tag champs together.
Wow.
I
don't even remember that.
Rock and Mankind, Chris Jericho and Big Show.
That was Jericho's show.
Stone Cold and Dude Love. Bret Hart and Goldberg.
They were tag team champions? What?
I don't remember that, man. Starcade 99.
Remember when
wait. That's referencing something different. Future that actually formed a tag team to defeat Creative Control for the WCW World Tag Team Championship. Wow.
Head cheese. For God's sake, Nick says. Head cheese.
Rock and The Undertaker.
I actually got kind of into head cheese. I remember that. Like, I thought they were kind of cool. Like, I enjoyed the interaction between Blackman and Snow.
Booker T and Gold Dust.
It was surreal. There was an occasion where, and this might have happened more than once, but I definitely towards the latter years of the Nitro era, where Flair and Dusty Rhodes teamed together, and it was like, man, this is like Gorbachev Reagan, man. This is like the great summit professional wrestling. These two guys on the same tag team, and then the same thing with like Sting and Arn Anderson teaming against Flair, or maybe it was Flair and Sting teaming against Arn Anderson and Pillman, was it? When Anderson and Flair had their little feud there briefly, and then they of course duped Sting into
yeah.
Trail.
Oh,
those
yeah.
always had kind of like, it was just surreal to watch, you know.
That was fun because you were just waiting for it.
You
and
knew
it's
it
like everybody knew
man.
it.
It was like
even Sting knew it. Like he was like when it happened.
So obvious. It's like, no, it's not going to happen because it's obviously going to happen. It's like they can't do it because it seems so obvious.
Oh, that's awesome. I want to tell you something that's irritating the hell out of me right now while we got some time is I went to sportsillustrated.com because I found a top 50 best tag teams of all time. The definitive, it calls it, the definitive top 50 tag teams of all time. And I'm just going to start with 10 and read up to see if you find anybody missing here. Okay. Oh, never mind. One I thought was missing is there. I thought they didn't have the Midnight in here. I was about to be pissed. So number 10, they've got the Von Erichs, but like as a stable, really. They said more than just a tag team. Number 9, they've got the Fabulous Freebirds.
Look how concerned Rob is, and I can tell
he's thinking it over.
He's thinking, why are they so low on this list?
I would be thinking that too. 8 is the Midnight Express, which I already I just called them the greatest possibly.
I'm getting worried about this top 7. Go ahead.
Number 7 is the Hardys. Number 6 is the Outsiders. Number 5 is the Dudleys. Number 4 is the Rock and Roll Express. Number 3 is the Hart Foundation. Number 2, Edge and Christian. And number 1 is the Road Warriors. Rob,
I have
you look sick.
I have some. I mean, I respect,
all this with Patterson and Briscoe.
I definitely respect the Hardys. I don't know that I'm ranking them above Midnight, but
I'd definitely not rank them above Midnight. I think they're great. I think they deserve to be in the top 10. I think Midnight's number 1, so nobody's above.
They're up there for sure. I think too when we get to a top 10, and I want to know if with the champ there in the chat if that's his pick for greatest of all time, because I'd be interested to know. But I think when we get into a top 10, the margin of error is so close. It's like if you're in a top 10, you're elite. It's like when you get to the PWA 500, a lot of people are critical of that, but I think if you're in the top 50 of that margin of error is so slim that to be in that top 50 means you are elite. You know, you're recognized as being in there. So wrestling is such a subjective sport, and you're looking at different.
Well,
styles.
This is the definitive list, Rob.
Yeah, this is the title.
My list is the definitive list. So, you know.
Hey,
so I'm seeing some names pop up in there. I want to establish. I'll keep looking and let Will say what he was going to say. But Willie Bowen, you said the Briscoe brothers. They barely missed out of the top 10. They were number 11. Aldous says the British Bulldogs. They came in at number 14.
That's not right. That's definitely not right.
Yeah, Harlem Heat's at 17. Who else did somebody mention? The Steiners.
What about Arn and Tully, man? And what about how the Briscoes are not in the top 10? I mean,
they're at number 11. Steiners 29.
Oh, that's terrible.
The Funks got mentioned in the chat. They're 28. Who am I missing that you guys said? Arn and Tully, they were not in the top 10. Let me go back.
What about Manny Fernandez and Rick Rude? Are they on there? I mean, it's like.
All right, listen, I'm just going down the list here. You want to start from the bottom or the top?
Crap, dude.
All right, number 50, the Bushwhackers.
You're not going to go through this whole
You're going to do this?
I'm about to. Superpowers, Gold Dust and Booker T, Blade Runners, Doom, Paul London and Brian Kendrick, The New Day, Mega Powers, Brothers of Destruction, World's Greatest Tag Team, Beer Money, Money Inc., The Fabulous Ones, Natural Disasters, Team Hell No, The Shield, The Rock and Sock Connection, Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher, The Young Bucks, Hollywood Blondes, Los Guerreros, Steiner Brothers, Funks, Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood, Minnesota Wrecking Crew, The Rockers, The Fabulous Kangaroos, Demolition, Mr. Fuji and Professor Tanaka, The Miracle Violence Connection. I've never even heard of that. Dr. Death and Bam Bam. Okay. They apparently held the NWA tag belts. So I need to be educated. The Russian team, that you know who they are. The Blackjacks, the New Age Outlaws, Harlem Heat, Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik, the Brain Busters. There you go. I guess they technically make it in there at number 15. Tully and Arn.
Yeah.
The British Bulldogs, the Valiant Brothers, Wild Samoans, Briscoes, and then I told you the top 10: Von Erichs, Freebirds, Midnight, Hardys, Outsiders, Dudleys, Rock and Roll, Hart Foundation, Edge and Christian, and then the Road Warriors.
I might have missed
50.
it. I might have missed it, but was Doom on that list?
Ooh, I'm just gonna do a.
That's if they're not, that's a massive oversight.
46.
Okay, good.
Now, you said the Freebirds were number 9. Did they specify a version or just the stable? Or did you say they were number 10?
They are number 9, and it says every time a stable defends a tag title with a rotating lineup, it's using the Freebird rule. The Fabulous Freebirds are legendary for many reasons, but when you make it to the mechanical parlance of the wrestling industry, your legacy is secure. Yeah, they've got everybody but Jimmy Garvin.
Are you kidding me? You're lying.
They don't have Jimmy. They don't.
Gary, are they in pixie dust or not?
It's Stardust, man. It's Stardust.
No, I'm sorry, Stardust.
It's the real Freebirds, Rob. The actual Freebirds.
Those are real. There were 3 of the 4 real Freebirds.
So there you go. The Mega Powers were on the list, James H. Jackson Jr. They were way up there. And I can't remember where, but now we've gone off on a tangent. But this 43 Mega Powers. No Fantastics. You're right.
At least we're going off on a tangent about pro wrestling tonight, as opposed to Sunday.
That's good.
What was happening?
And you know what? This is what we do. This is who we're here for, the chat. That's what we do for these live shows. The end is just to hang out with the live chat and talk about whatever you guys want. So you guys are all here. We appreciate it. Terry, Dory, and Jimmy Jack Funk. Says Dr. Red Tyler. Anyway, that was Sports Illustrated. What do they know? The Moondogs.
Does it credit who wrote that list? Do we have an author there?
I just closed out of it. Sorry. Oh no.
Because unless it was Brian Solomon, I don't know about it.
Definitive ranking. It is Luke Winkie.
Rob's going to do some research. He's going to find out everything he can about this guy.
He is.
So the champ is giving us his top 10, which to me, this would be a definitive list. See, this is someone who would know. So.
Okay, so according to Nick Aldis, number 1, the Rock and Roll Express. Number 2, Hart Foundation. Number 3, Midnight. 4, Arn and Tully. 5 Bulldogs, 6 Beer Money, 7 Dudleys, 8 Road Warriors, 9 Freebirds, 10 MCNG.
There you go. I like that.
All right, Motor
Yes,
City Machine Guns. That is pretty impressive that he throws them in the 10, but I like those guys. So
I do too, man. I'm a big Motor City fan.
I'd be interested if the champ would tell us what his favorite version of the Midnights are, since we just talked about that.
Oh yeah, champ, if you're out there still, you tell us is it Bobby and Dennis, or is it Bobby and Sweet Stan?
Or is it one of the other two?
Or one of the other mysterious two that nobody knows because it's not them.
Beautiful Bobby and Jimmy Garvin.
Who's talking now?
Beautiful Bobby and Jimmy Garvin. Outlaws and Rockers, honorable mention, says Aldous.
The Rockers were special, man. I watched, when I was at the beach the other week, I watched like SummerSlam 92 or something wild like that. And the Rockers opened it up, and yeah, they were special.
Speaking of my wife, she just texted me. She's like, "Who are you in there talking to?" I was like, the chat room and my boys.
The same guys I'm always in here talking to.
Yeah.
Ray was just lost, by the way. So anyway.
Bobby and Dennis, but there's nothing in it. So he's a Bobby and Dennis guy. I don't know.
McKinney says, and also is Jimmy Garvin a true Freebird?
Good question, Rob.
You just ask Michael P.S. Hayes, and he will tell you that Jimmy Garvin is not only a true Freebird, but he has been a Freebird his whole life. So, yes, he is a true Freebird. And that I'm just smart. Don't take my word for it. Take Hayes' word for it. So.
This guy also wrote a definitive list of the greatest singles wrestlers of all time, the 100. So I'm not going to read them all, obviously, but
I'll save that for Sunday.
Yeah,
Can we do the we're not going to do the top 10 even?
No, I was going to tell you. I was going to say I'm worried because at 101, he did a definitive ranking of the top 101 wrestlers of all time. Why? I don't know why, but 101 is The Miz, and I can't think of God bless him, but I can't think of a world where I feel like that's accurate. But number 1 is Ric Flair. Number 2 is Shawn. Number 3 is Stone Cold. Number 4 is The Rock. Number 5 is Taker. Number 6 is Dusty. 7 Cena. 8 Hogan. 9 Sting. 10 Andre.
Where's Brett?
Rob. Yeah, where is Brett?
No, yeah, I
Harley's 14. That was who I went.
I mean, it's
first.
like, look, I mean, this is somebody who's obviously, he's a he's heavy in the WWF, which is fine.
16 Bret Hart.
Bret Hart is not in the top 2, at least. I mean, that's, to me, let me take it back. Everybody's got an opinion on this, and every opinion evidently is right.
Well, I mean, just even the topic of greatest wrestler, like what there's so many different variables that you could be discussing here.
Correct. And I would say that if you're in anybody's top 100 list or even top 50 list, that means you're elite, and you could probably make a credible case for any of them. You know, you can make a credible case for Flair. You can make a credible case for Bret Hart. You can make a case for Harley Race. Some cases are easier to make than others, but there's a case to be made. And then you look like, and we talked about this before, you know, with our champ who's in the chat, Nick Aldis. At this point in his second title reign, Ric Flair at this same point was already being talked about as one of the greatest of all time. So, you know, Nick Aldis has got to be in the discussion too. And I'm not just saying that because he's in here. I say it all the time. You know, he's got to be in that.
Blowing smoke now. You don't have to kiss that. You're upset because he heard the Saudi Arabia conversation. 16. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Brett's my dude.
Brett should
that
be
guy.
number 1 or number 2.
See, here's the thing. I was looking at this just now, and I'm thinking, okay, Ric Flair 1, Shawn 2, 3 Stone Cold, 4 The Rock. I'm like, all right, I could get that there's arguments that those 4 guys belong in the top 5. My question is and this is just a legitimate question, is they've got number 5 as the Undertaker, but hey, thanks for stopping by, Nick. We appreciate you checking in on everything. We're going to be wrapping up soon anyway, but appreciate you jumping in on this with us. But the Undertaker is number 5. So like right after him, I mean, I don't know. It's tough, but I don't know that I put Cena in the top 10. And I'm not a Cena hater. I just don't get it. But like, what you got, like Dusty and Hogan, Sting, Andre, like that's hard to make a top 5, but like, I don't know. I mean, out of those guys,
greatest promotional characters of all time, maybe, greatest, characters of all time, but greatest wrestlers, and your Bret Hart's number 16. That's not credible to me.
I literally said this on Twitter to somebody the other day. For some reason it came up. I think it was our question of the day, buddy. But he said his favorite wrestler was Bret Hart too, and we got into like that conversation. But I was like, I really sadly feel like he's underrated now. Like people don't remember. People don't give Bret Hart the credit he deserves. Like Bret Hart's awesome. Bret Hart's legit one of the best. Like,
I mean, wrestling changed so much from when Bret Hart came on the scene to when he, stepped away from wrestling. Like it went from, the world where he would have been number 1, talking about technical wrestlers. And I mean, he had a great presence and a great fan following, but it turned into much more, especially the WWF, WWE, it turned into much more entertainment. And that just wasn't his deal. He wasn't a larger than life like personality like The Rock or The Undertaker or Stone Cold or something like that. So there was just a shift in the culture. And, guys like Ric Flair were way ahead of their time with that stuff. I mean, he was always larger than life, but there were guys like Bret. And I think in the scheme of things, that's why they're underappreciated, because you look at it through the lens of all time. And there's going to be guys that stick out in your mind because they were louder, like a John Cena. He talks a lot. We have a lot of memories in wrestling of him, and, it just gets viewed a little skewed a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just funny. I'm sitting here thinking about, I think part of that conversation we were having was like somebody said that Bret Hart, the guy was like, oh, the reason it came up was because somebody had said Bret Hart wasn't part of the Attitude Era or something. I was like, well, yeah, he was. Like, he's one of the like beginnings of the Attitude Era, like started with him and like the Hart Foundation and DX and Bret and Stone Cold and like all of that stuff. I would absolutely consider Bret Hart there. And yeah, you're right. Like that would be the time period where he would least, you would assume he would be least successful because it became these like larger than life personalities and stuff like that. But he even shifted himself at that point to become like, to use his natural self to become like this heel, like what I was talking about. Like if Mickie James were to take that and run with it, like in the situation she's in, where he became like this, like saying out loud that Americans suck, but also being like, this is all garbage, and like hating Shawn because he's just an arrogant prick who's like flashy and, just he doesn't appreciate him. Like he's never going to be the wrestler that Bret Hart is. And like all of that stuff, like it, he used all of that and became like I think he made himself still relevant in that Attitude Era time. And if you go back and you watch that Canadian Stampede pay-per-view, my God, like when it's the Hart Foundation versus who was it? It was like Stone Cold and like Ken Shamrock and the Road Warriors and I forget who else, but man, that place was nuts. Like that crowd is loud, and it's we've seen the old pay-per-views we picked up on for the NWA here, and we've talked about how loud those crowds get. That's one of the ones in the modern era I can think of doing that, but those are fewer and far between the further along you get. You can have moments, but I don't know. Anyway, my boy Bret deserves respect. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Agreed.
100%.
We can all agree on that, at least.
Anyway, well, guys, I guess we'll wrap this up. I will look up this last one for Little Rage Media because this is a good one. Jerry Lawler, where does he fall in that? He is wow. What? Hold on.
While you're looking that up, Gary, let me just say for Little Rage Media, Jerry Lawler, the King, endorsed and passed off that mantra of being the King to King Shane Williams. This happened. It's documented. It's on camera. It might even be on YouTube somewhere where he acknowledged that and essentially passed on that legacy of the King gimmick to Shane Williams, who we will be featuring on our podcast both on Thursday and Friday.
I wish we'd have mentioned that while Mr. Aldis was in the chat, because I wonder if he has caught that what's getting thrown up.
But he is Aldis and Shane Williams have worked together multiple times. In fact, there was a time when King Shane Williams was out of the business due to an injury for close to 2, maybe even 3 years. And when he was getting ready to get back, it was Aldis who gave him his first match back after that long hiatus. And Shane Williams is just a great guy. He's a good friend of mine. I just really admire him a lot. He's very humble, but also, he's the King, and he knows he's the King, and that's what you see. But if you are a fan of Jerry Lawler, you're going to get to see really someone who, in many respects, is Jerry Lawler's handpicked successor in Shane Williams here on our channel on Thursday and Friday. So make sure you tune in to see that. I'm excited to bring it to you.
Yeah, that's going to be really good. Guys, Jerry the King Lawler is not on this list.
And that's a shame. That's a shame right there.
He is just not on this list. That seems insane. The Miz is on this list.
No.
The Miz. How is the Miz on this list? Like, I don't see another name that I would disagree with. At least, like, I don't even see many women, by the way, but they do throw in Lita, so they're still technically considering women in this. This is not just.
And I like that. I'm with that. I can.
No, I'm not disagreeing with it. It's just also I think I wasn't thinking of women. Sorry, but since I am, I feel like a lot of women could have made their way further up the list because the only
for sure. We need to start training our minds to think, pound for pound, best wrestlers.
Trish and Lita made this list, but anyway.
So you got to think like a Mildred Burke. Why is she not on the list? I mean, she should be in there.
Medusa
Michelli should be on there. Sherry Martel, Wendy Richter, Bambi. Some of the moderns like like Charlotte Flair. Those are names that all should be entertained as being among the greatest. So for sure, Thunder Rosa.
Exactly. Medusa, front row.
Thunder Rosa is a relatively newcomer in the sport, even though she's accomplished a lot. I think she started in like 2014, maybe right a little bit before that, but she will be in that list, and she's already come in as a force, and she's instantly relevant, and she's certainly in the current top 50 of regardless of gender or weight class or nationality or political persuasion or whether you live under a tyrannical government or not.
Anyway, this list is now null and void for me. It's stupid because Jerry the King Lawler is not in the top 101 wrestlers of all time. That seems really rough. Yeah. That guy owned a whole region for forever.
Yeah,
but anyway,
is this the same author, Gary?
Yes. So now he's just discredited.
You heard it here.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Rob and Will and I all love you very, very much. And we wish you the best. But as the champ, the real world's heavyweight champ said, we do have wives to tend to. We do have families. So we got to get back to that. And I have work tomorrow. So, there's that part. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us. See a lot of seen some new names pop in there, and see some people are still watching. We've got a nice little audience there. If you guys are watching and you haven't done it already, make sure you hit subscribe on the YouTube page to get more alerts for little things like this when they come up. We love you guys for showing up and hanging out in the chat. But the show is also available on podcast. So on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that stuff. If you haven't, you want to check out past episodes and you can't be glued to the YouTube. Also, hit the links in the social media bios. You can find links to everything there, or the NWApod.com. You can go there. Join our Discord, all of that stuff. And we can chat wrestling into the wee hours of the morning with Rob when he randomly hops on at 3:30 in the morning. You can talk to him. It was good to see. I want to echo James H. Jackson Jr. there. Great to see the new faces today.
Yep. And I'll say this too. We've been known in the past couple weeks to hop on here randomly live if anything newsworthy pertaining to the NWA happens. And so if anything like that were to happen this week before Sunday, you want to make sure you're subscribed so you can get alerted when we hop on to talk about it.
Yep. There's a good possibility newsworthy things happen. You never know. I don't know.
I don't know.
You
I'm just saying.
The world's unpredictable.
Yes. That's my point.
Who would have thought that half the things we learned today, I wouldn't have thought would be the case. Like Rob being a Saudi operative.
I want to tell you, man, that looking at the analytics here, when we started this show, our podcast was like number 73 in Saudi Arabia. By the end, we dropped 180 since y'all denounced the Saudi people.
Oh boy. Well, guys,
on that note,
and missed the 605. Same Dave. You can tune. I'm gonna regret saying this. You can tune into AEW this Saturday at 6 o'clock, and you can watch them. And maybe, just maybe, something NWA related will occur. Who knows? You never know. News is crazy.
It's just all speculation.
All right. Well, you guys all take care. And until next time, enjoy your gravy cake.